Hey everybody, what's going on? Welcome back to the Mostly Audibles podcast, hosted by myself, Jarrett Smith, and my co-host Ryan Gumm. How are we doing, Ryan?
Great as always. It's
Great as
football.
always.
We got football.
Finally, it's good to be
Football.
back, boys. It's good to be back.
I know. Listen, it felt like we would never get there. I know that's a cliche thing to say, but honestly, this summer has been so long, and the school year took
Yeah.
forever to get started. So when I actually looked forward on the ESPN and there was like games, I couldn't believe it.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's happening.
Everything is fine.
Everything, yeah, burning house, crumbling mental state.
Yes.
Like everything is fine.
Yes. No sleep.
None,
Watching
never.
football all the time.
Here we are
All right.
recording at 9:34 in the PM, prepping. I got class all day tomorrow,
I've got work all day tomorrow,
and here
so
we are talking football.
yes.
There's nothing
Shows our
else I'd bet.
dedication.
Yeah, yes, that's about to say. There's nothing else I'd rather be doing.
No, not at all.
Wait
We've
till
we've been
basketball
trying to
gets
get
here,
this worked out for a while, and it's finally happening.
dude. When basketball gets here, it'll be the exact same thing.
Oh yeah,
So if you
pretty
like
much.
sports, keep stopping by.
Keep stopping by because we're going to branch out uh, with more podcasts. It's kind of been a big talk on this hiatus is what we're doing like with this show. So it's going to be very interesting in the next 2-3 months, like how this goes.
Oh yeah, just wait. Just you won't believe
Yeah.
what's about to happen. All right. So what are we doing?
All
And
right.
what are we getting into, Mr. Smith?
I figured we'd talk about college first, just a little bit. It's still football. That's what we're rocking with. It gets some good content. I figured the first game we'd start out with was probably one of the biggest games of the day. And what I was really hoping for was Texas to beat Alabama. They didn't, but
Listen,
it was a really good game.
all I'm saying, my boy or not Hudson, Ewers played his out of his mind. I cannot believe that he went out the way he did. Like that's so unfortunate.
It was. I mean, he started off really hot, and then they brought in Hudson Card. They
Yeah,
brought
Hudson
him
played.
in.
Hudson played well.
He was okay. He was not very
Hudson
good,
played a
but it is
little.
it is Alabama, so like you gotta,
Yeah,
you you know.
Hudson.
Speaking of Alabama, I want to start off with this. Their receiving core, it's not what it used to be.
No, no.
No, like I don't think it's very particularly close to the groups that we've seen over the past 6 years.
No. I mean, Jameer Gibbs played well, 9 receptions, 74 yards, and a tutty. But like there was
Yeah.
like in recent past, as you said, like there's been Devontae Smith, there's been Jalen Waddle, like there have been in more more distant past Julio,
Mhm.
they've seemed to always had those guys. And this year, like it looked like Bryce played well. Like Bryce
Mhm.
had 213 yards. He was 27 for 39 on the day with a touchdown. But like it took him a long time for him to read plays. Like that Texas defense was
Yeah.
keeping him humble, was keeping him honest, and he wasn't hitting many deep threats. You know what I mean?
No, he was not. I mean, their longest catch of the day was for 23 yards.
Yeah, and like
You-
that's like respectable. But
Yeah, like that's not Alabama.
like no,
That's
and
not what we have gotten used to. Granted, it was Texas, and Texas is good.
yeah, I mean all
So
all Coach Clark had to do was just let his defense played like towards the line. Like they were waiting for the rush. They knew that the short catches were coming. They like at the end of the day, if you're Bama, you're just trying to get the ball into your playmakers, and they just couldn't.
yeah, they really struggled. I mean, they ran the ball well. They couldn't really throw it as well. Bryce had a lot of completions and not that many yards, which
Yeah,
checking down a lot.
I am shocked
Which,
that or like we were talking about, Bryce threw for 39 attempts. Okay,
hmm
Jace McClellan had 6 carries, 97 yards, and a touchdown.
hmm
I am shocked that they didn't go back to the ground more because it was working. They were winning on the ground.
yeah, as a team, if they have 24 total rushes and 7 of them are Bryce Young, you're not really that excited about how well the offensive game plan was.
No, and I mean like
Especially in a game like that where it's just like it's nasty football. Like you want to rely on your running backs. That's what Alabama's been able to do for the past 10
oh yeah,
years,
oh yeah.
and they didn't rely on them.
Which is odd because like he was playing insane.
Yeah, I mean he
97
did.
yards and a touchdown on 6 carries.
Yeah, I mean, granted, he had outside of his 81-yard run, he had 5 carries for 16 yards,
which
but that's
like
still
yeah, like
not terrible.
why are you not giving him the ball? Like I understand he just broke one and got lucky, but like you still got to keep feeding him. 6 carries in an entire game,
Yeah. See, Texas did it right. They got Robinson 21 carries.
dude.
He didn't capitalize on them mainly because it's Alabama and,
Yeah,
they're going to have the best defensive line, or they might not have the best defensive line this year mainly because Georgia's is absolutely insane,
yeah.
but it's going to be top 5.
Very say the only reason Alabama won't have the best defense overall is because Georgia looks like an NFL team.
Yeah. And they still do, which
Yeah,
is which is incredible to see. I think it's gonna be a very interesting come playoff time,
yeah,
or like maybe more conference championship time, seeing them against each other
yeah.
because they're gonna play. They play the same style, and they're both very good defensively, not as great offensively, and it's going to be very very exciting to watch.
Right.
Um,
That was the biggest thing. I mean, final thoughts before we move on, or at
yeah.
least my final thoughts on that is that like neither like each defense really showed their might because it was a lot of bend but don't break, and neither side
Mm-hmm.
really got the advantage over the other. Like Hudson,
No.
like yeah, Bryce Young threw 39 times. Hudson Card came in, played a little under 2/3 of the game, threw 22 times for 158 yards. Quinn Ewers played the first, or well, half of the first half, I guess, one quarter, and was 9 for 12 with 134. And yes, he was slinging it and doing well, but still, like once Ewers went out and Hudson came in, he was serviceable. But in the same boat of Bryce Young, on 22 throws, you're wanting a little more than 158.
You are. Well, I mean, I would be very curious to see what the game looks like if Ewers never goes out.
Texas is
I
winning,
think Texas wins,
probably by
but
double digits if I had to guess.
that's a hot one.
No, well,
I'm here.
seriously
I'm
though,
for it. I'm
like
for it. That's a
legitimately,
hot
like
one.
I understand that like we were just talking about that Bama defense didn't break, but I feel like they didn't break because Hudson was playing more conservative football. Quinn was going
Hmm.
out there with all his talent, with the coaching staff's confidence, and he was just slinging it like we were talking about.
Hmm.
And here's the thing: Texas couldn't score because they had a last-second quarterback change due to injury. Right? He had an SC sprain, which is where is that like that was shoulder, correct?
Yes,
I thought he
he
broke his
hurt his shoulder.
collarbone. I thought it was his collarbone when I saw it. Um, but
No, he landed on it, and basically the joint just jolts back in, and it
yeah,
is very painful. I know.
yeah. Hopefully he'll be back. I know it's not like an out for the rest of the year kind of thing, but hopefully there's no repercussions from this later down the line. But for Alabama's perspective, there was no reason they shouldn't have scored more than 20 points. Like they should have had
Yeah.
a lot better success offensively, and they just didn't. Texas,
Yeah.
they had the success until their star quarterback went down. So yeah, I
They
do
did.
think Texas probably puts up 30 points.
Yeah. I agree. I'm gonna quickly run through the 2 through 5. Georgia beat Sanford 33-0. Ohio State beat Arkansas State 45-12. Michigan took care of Hawaii 56-10, and Clemson beat Furman 35-12. All what we expect out of top 5 teams. And then Texas A&M,
Oh
which,
baby,
um, let's be honest about it. App State is not a walkover anymore.
no,
They haven't been for a few years.
I'm happy you took that
And
route.
I think people are going to realize very quickly that App State is not someone that you schedule because you think they're an easy game anymore. They're a team that can beat you at any given time if you let them.
Facts, facts. No, I'm happy you took that route because I was like, if you didn't, the first thing I was going to say was give App State like their credit because in week 0 they scored 61 on a decent North Carolina team. They lost that game, but barely.
Yeah. They
So
should have they if they hadn't done what they did, they win it very very convincingly.
I know,
It was just they let North Carolina win.
yeah. Well, North Carolina offensively is tough. Their defense is just a
They
joke.
are. Yeah.
And it's exactly,
ACC.
yeah, exactly, like yeah, ACC football, and I
Yeah.
completely agree. Like App State, they took what it looked from my opinion. App State took everything they learned from the North Carolina game and they just applied it to Texas A&M. Yes, they didn't
Mhm.
score 61 points, but that's because they were facing a legit SEC defense. Jimbo
Mhm.
Fisher's offense looks horrible. It looks
Oh, it was
absolutely
terrible.
atrocious. But that App State defense also looked like it capitalized and learned. Like
They
you have a
did.
quality non-power 5 defense with good coaching staff and you have an awful offensive scheme and you just have all the capabilities of a loss and that's exactly what happened.
It is. I was very proud of the way that they played mainly because like Texas A&M was a team that a lot of people were picking to go possibly to the playoff, and now you're like they've got App State as a loss, and they're gonna it's gonna hurt them come later in the year unless they win some very convincing games. But I mean, you look offensively, their quarterback had 97 yards passing, had a
Haynes King
21
played
QBR.
awful.
He was terrible. I mean,
You can't find openings in a App State defense. I know what we just said. We give App State credit, but that's still a Sun Belt team. Like this is the SEC. It does not get easier.
no, it's not. They are the best conference in football. They have been for years. They're going to continue to be for years.
Yep.
It's not going to change anytime soon
So
because they're still going to have Alabama and Georgia.
here's my question, okay?
Okay, let's hear it.
If the problem's not talent, the problem has to be coaching. That's the
I'm
statement.
so glad you went with that because that was what my next point was.
Now the
I was
question,
about to
do
ask you
you
how
move
much
on?
you put that on Jimbo.
Oh, it's 100%. I mean, you go their first game, you're telling me that you already are having five-star talent quit on you after one game, right?
Hmm.
You go out and then immediately lose to App State. Once again, all the respect in the world. I think this is full responsibility on Jimbo Fisher. And you know why this looks even worse? Think
Yeah.
about all that they went through in the offseason. All the
Mhm.
scandal, all the finger pointing, all the finger pointing back from Jimbo Fisher to Nick Saban. And you
Mhm.
know, it looks real bad when you're talking about, can't wait till we play Bama and talking about winning the SEC and about how you don't pay players. You're just that good at recruiting, and we have that kind of mentality, that kind of culture. Then all of a sudden, you immediately have problems and you immediately lose to a non-ranked, non-Power Five team.
Honestly, I hate to say this because it's gonna make me mad if it happens, but they're gonna keep Jimbo,
They
and what's
will,
gonna end up happening is they're gonna beat Alabama. They're going
like they
to.
did last
That's
year.
how it always happens. They're gonna lose this game, then they'll give you that false hope like they might actually be really good when they beat a team like Bama, and then they just go out and crap the bed again. It's
Jimbo
just
has always played down or up to his opponent.
oh, always.
Like it's not even like a team thing. That's just his culture. Is what I'm like gathering. Is just this man cannot coach like as like the over on anything.
Yeah, like it is a struggle for him to be consistent head coach.
Yeah, I mean, good. I mean, he
Uh,
great. Still a good coach. Respect, but
yeah, yeah.
not
Like
not
when
good.
it comes to big games, there are very few people that you want coaching your team more than Jimbo Fisher in college football. But when you're playing an App State, I could think of about probably 15 to 20 guys that I would rather have just off the top of my head.
Yeah, a lot of them are in the games we're about to cover next.
Yes, yes, they are. Um, I'll run through this one. Oklahoma beat the crap out of Kent State as they should. Um, let's get into the Notre Dame game because
Oh, we got
this
trouble in South Bend.
we do, and I
Oh
think
boy.
this is another thing, kind of like Jimbo Fisher, where they're going to play up when they're having competition, like if they're playing in Ohio State. When they're playing a Marshall, they're going to play down to them.
Right.
Like I feel like Notre Dame always does this. They do it every year. They get your hopes up, making you think that they're a really good team. They're gonna crap the bed at some point, and then make you think they're a really good team again, and then crap the bed. It's this endless cycle with Notre Dame where they're just constantly great, bad, great, bad, great, bad. And it's just like if they had the consistency of being that great team, I would be so much more confident putting them higher. But like you never can put them top 10 to start the year. If you put them top 10 to start the year, they're going to lose.
Yeah.
They just are. Like they're going to lose at some point and it's going to be embarrassing and then you wonder why you ever put them in the top 10 to begin with.
Here's the scary thing about hiring a defensive coordinator is that you have to put as head coach, as Notre Dame did with Coach Freeman, is you have to put a lot of emphasis on who you hire as your offensive coordinator. And I'm not for certain who the OC is in Notre Dame because Brian Kelly was, if I'm not mistaken, he's an offensive mind, is he not? Like, correct me if I'm wrong.
I don't honestly know. I think he
I,
is,
I, I thought he
but
was because their offense was at least serviceable. And the reason I bring that point up is because when you look at not just the Marshall game, but when you look at the Ohio State game for Notre Dame, gosh, their offense looks so bad. In the Marshall
mhm,
game, or let me go back to Ohio State. In their Ohio State game, their leading rusher was Chris Tyree, who had 28 yards on 6 carries. Okay,
mhm,
their Tyler Buckner, their quarterback, rushed the most for 11 times for 18 yards. Okay, that's just
mhm,
in the Ohio State game.
yeah,
Tyler Buckner, sticking with him in Ohio State, he was 10 for 18 on the day for 177 yards and no touchdowns.
mhm,
All right. Moving over to the Marshall game. Buckner, who ended up getting hurt, he's out for the year. I don't remember exactly what it was. I think it's his ACL. He threw 18 for
mhm,
32 on the day, 201
yeah,
yards, and 2 interceptions. His backup, Drew Pine, 3 of 6, 20 yards for a touchdown and a pick. 3 interceptions, 3 turnovers against a Marshall defense, which, just like App State, respect to them, great for them to go into South Bend and win this game, but that's
mhm,
atrocious. Like,
it is.
sticking with Tyler with the bad offensive woes for Notre Dame, can you guess who their leading rusher was?
It was Buckner.
It was Tyler Buckner with 44 yards on 13 carries. He had 2 rushing touchdowns on the day.
Yeah,
No wonder he got hurt.
yeah.
Like, I
You
really want
can't
to
you can't
see.
run your quarterback that much, and
No,
not. I mean, if it's designated runs, kinda like, if they're an athlete like Lamar, yeah, you can do that. But if you're throwing Buckner out there and letting him be your primary back, basically, they're
yeah,
gonna get hurt. That's just it's been a trend in college football for years with, offensive coordinators running their quarterbacks around like that, and it's just
yeah.
it always happens. For some reason, they haven't learned, I don't know why, but they have not learned that, unless this guy's Lamar, you probably shouldn't be letting them run around like a chicken with their head cut off.
No, no, very bad, very bad.
Yeah, I don't know. I Notre Dame makes me angry because
Yeah,
when I was younger, I used to be like, "Notre Dame's good, put them in there," and every time they'd let me down, and eventually I got let down so much, I can't
you
with
gave
Notre
up. You're
Dame.
like, I'm done.
I gave up. I
Yeah.
can't. No. It's
No,
just
you never trust Notre Dame until they decide to pick a conference. Just join the ACC. Like, stop waiting for the Big
true,
Ten. Just you
true.
have literally every other Notre Dame sport is in the ACC. We're getting off topic, but like, just
We are.
just to I guess I don't know before we move on or what, even if we stick with this conversation, Notre Dame pick a conference. Like I understand you want to stay independent because you get a lot more scheduling leeway and whatnot, but stop it. It's not cute anymore. It's annoying.
Yeah, it has genuinely become annoying. That's sad.
I know, but it
Alright,
is.
I don't wanna talk about Notre Dame anymore. Let's go to
Great
the,
job, Marshall.
BYU Baylor upset. Yeah,
Let's
good
do
job,
it.
Marshall. Shout out.
Double overtime.
Um, Double overtime, BYU pulls it off.
Yeah.
Is BYU, like, legit?
I think, listen,
Because I'm not even gonna lie, I saw them ranked and I was just like, "BYU's not like that. There's no way." And then they come out here and they beat Baylor, and now I'm questioning if they're like that.
dude, all I'm saying is that we're looking for a West Coast team to challenge that top four from the East, and I'm telling you, if it's going to be anybody, it's going to be BYU. They're
Ooh,
tough. Like, Baylor's good. Like, I feel like that's something
that
that will get lost on
mm.
this. Sorry, what were you going to say?
I was just gonna say how, like, terrible Baylor's quarterback played, but,
Oh,
you
yeah, he
know,
was awful.
he was terrible. But I mean, you gotta attest some bad quarterback play to the defense because they did play impeccable defense.
Yeah. No,
It's just I don't know. I don't know. I
they,
don't know what to say about them because it makes me angry.
they have BYU has a lot of talent. They were coached very well. Jaron
Mhm,
Hall played like, I mean, he was one. That was one of the most fundamentally sound games I'd ever seen.
mhm.
Like he just like, not to say he didn't make mistakes. It's college. Like I would say that people will be like, no, no, no. Yes, he played very well, fundamentally sound for a college kid. Yes, this man played like a pro. He was 23 of 39, 261 yards, a touchdown, 10 carries, 28 yards, and he had a receiving touchdown for 22 yards. Dude,
I love when like the lesser ranked teams throw out these trick plays and like the higher ranked teams have no idea what to do with them because they're just like, oh my god, it's a trick. Normally when we're
yeah,
playing like SEC teams or something, they don't ever do this. They just run the ball.
I know. Like,
And then you get these like random teams like a BYU and they come out and they're throwing the whole playbook at them and they're winning with it.
Yeah.
I love it.
I mean,
It literally makes my day every time I see it.
shout out to Chase Roberts, the BYU receiver, 8 receptions, 122 yards, and a touchdown on the day. I mean, like every facet of that game was played well by BYU. Yes, they made mistakes. The game went to double overtime. But like you brought up that BYU defense. They held a good Baylor team with bad quarterback play and all to 20 points.
Yeah, they
Like
did.
it took 2 overtimes for Baylor to get to 20. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like
Yeah.
that's like and that's a good BYU or Baylor defense too. That
Mhm.
Jaron Hall and Chase Roberts just carved up all night. So like,
Mhm.
shout out to BYU. I think that they're legit.
Uh, I'm beginning to think that I was not a BYU believer. I'm not gonna lie. BYU was not gonna be someone that I thought would be ranked by the end of the year,
They
but
might.
they might.
They keep walking through
That
their schedule.
Yeah, they should get a good. Honestly, they'll probably get a good bowl game. I don't think they make it up toward anything like playoff, but I think they get a good bowl game.
Never know. I mean, I at least
That's
think I
true.
agree. New York. I mean, the NY6 for sure. But
Yeah,
if top 10 teams keep dropping the way they do, you never know.
that is very true. Um, I'm gonna move on. I'm not trying to really stick on college football too much.
20 minutes in.
Um, 20 minutes in.
Uh-huh.
We are going to talk about Kentucky, Florida a lot, mainly because we're from Kentucky and
Dude,
both
I'm
Kentucky
saying
fans.
like,
So
what games we got between this? I'm saying let's just go ahead and get there.
let's go
Like,
ahead and get there.
yeah,
Okay,
USC
we'll
beat
run through 10 and
Stanford.
11. Yeah,
Yeah, USC beat Stanford, and Oklahoma State beat Arizona State.
Arizona State.
There you
Yep.
go. That's all you need.
All right.
Oklahoma State's good. Mike Gundy's got another good squad. They're legit.
Mhm.
They might win the Big 12.
Love seeing the Oak State offenses run out.
Dude,
Love them.
so much fun to watch.
They
I'm a
are.
man. Sorry, I
Yeah.
had to. I didn't want to, but we started talking about Mike Gundy, and I had to say it once. That's probably my favorite sports meme of all time.
It was an intrusive thought, and I'm here for it.
Okay. All right. Here we go. The game.
The one that we've been waiting on.
Yep.
Kentucky handles Florida. All right,
Cannot
let's
like.
not let's not act like they handled them. Let's make it very very clear that had Kentucky not got that pick six before halftime, this is a completely different game that we're
Oh,
talking
for
about.
sure, for sure. I mean, this.
They get a pick six and changes the tide completely. Florida had all the momentum, about like probably about to go up two or three scores. I don't remember what the score was at the time, but they're probably about to go do that, and then they come out, get a pick six, and then Florida just
God,
loses all confidence whatsoever.
the.
And you get to the second half where Kentucky's running game wears down their defense, and it's just chef's kiss.
Oh yeah, for sure. See, that's the thing is that like what led to that pick six was the Kentucky defense had Anthony Richardson like
Hmm.
shaky all night. Like the way he
Yeah.
played versus that Utah defense versus the way he played versus the Kentucky defense are two
Hmm.
completely different players. We were talking about Anthony
Absolutely.
Richardson going into this game. Like he was going to be the next all-star quarterback, all-pro quarterback to any NFL team once he finally declares.
Yeah.
No more. This man came out, did not matter what he did. Even when they had the momentum, I still looked at this man as if he was scared. He was contemplating, he was holding the ball too long. He was trying to escape
Hmm.
the pocket because what's his first instinct? It's his legs. But anytime he'd
Hmm.
get out of the pocket, he was getting hit. So then he
Hmm.
was second guessing the one thing that makes his bread and butter, which
Hmm.
eventually led to what you were describing, the pick six, which gave Kentucky all the momentum for the rest of the game.
Hmm.
Anthony Richardson, going to go over his full stats real quick. He was 14 of 35, 143 yards through the air, and 2 interceptions. One of those being the pick six.
One of the he did run for a solid 4 yards on 6 attempts.
Yeah, I mean that's
Um,
solid, bro.
Yeah, love that.
Yeah.
But Richardson will be fine eventually. Kentucky's defense is no joke. They are an SEC defense. They have been for a while now. They step up when it's that time. Plus, the media gave them all the motivation in the world to absolutely come out
Oh,
and
for
have a
sure.
game like this where they dominate.
Yeah.
But I th- I still feel like Richardson is going to be probably a first round quarterback this year unless he continues this trend, which I just don't see happening.
Never know.
But he oh, well, you got it's the NFL where they're gonna draft intangibles over anything,
I
and a
know.
6'4" quarterback who runs like he does, with a cannon like he has,
I
they're
mean,
gonna
if
draft.
he plays the
They
way he
are.
played last night, all I see is Tyrod Taylor. Like I don't see much more than that.
Well, I mean,
Like
Tyrod's still a
Tyrod,
decent
he's
quarterback.
respectable, but like he's
Yeah.
everywhere he's been the guy that's been replaced. Like that's not
Yeah.
that Tyrod Taylor's not a first round pick. You know what I mean? Like now, like look retrospect. Like if Anthony Richardson's ceiling is Tyrod Taylor, you don't take him in the first round. You take him in the third.
Yeah, but we're not saying that his ceiling is Tyrod Taylor.
No, no,
You might be,
I'm
I'm
saying
not.
if he plays like the rest of the season the way he played last night, then yeah.
Mhm.
Like I agree. Like the NFL like executives will look at him based off of his potential rather than what he actually did in game. And what he did last week, or I guess in the first game against Utah, will probably give him all the room for draft pick that he needs. But
Yeah.
if he doesn't have anything similar to what he did in week one against, or week zero, I guess, against Utah, like I said, I feel like he'll be a decent talent, but he'll be Tyrod Taylor unless he proves something wrong. Like this is only week. This is only their second game, so like I'm not saying that's going to
Yeah.
be where it is. I'm
Is
just saying
was
based
this
off what I've.
is this the 3rd game he started
Yeah, like that's what
his
I'm saying.
career?
That's what I'm saying.
I
Like
mean,
I'm only basing what I'm saying off of all that I've seen, which is very little. But I just haven't seen enough to declare him a first round pick. Like people are drooling over this man. Like I did
yeah,
with.
he if they really that I know I was looking at mock drafts because that is my favorite thing to do. I love mock drafts. They carry absolutely no weight this early in the year, but I love to see like the transition from like week 1 to end of the year. It's like the progression. Like loved seeing Derek Stingley go from like top 5 guaranteed to like maybe a first rounder to back to top 5. I
Yeah,
don't know why. I absolutely love seeing the progression on stuff like that.
it's cool.
But he's going to go from like top 3 to probably bottom of the first right now,
Yeah,
and then he'd probably go back up again.
he
But
probably will.
it's just it's wild the way that these
Yeah.
uh college quarterbacks go about their draft processes.
Oh, for sure. And to defend my point, and to people will just think that I'm some redneck hick Kentucky fan with no teeth that's uneducated. Before those people come after me, I want to say, and this will give us a good transition to
Yeah,
the
you do
Kentucky
have
side.
2 teeth.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. This gives me a good transition into the Kentucky side of things. I also think the same thing about Will Levis. Like when people say he'll be the first quarterback taken off the board to the Giants,
No.
I don't know if he should be. Like I'm not saying Will Levis is going to be that guy, but I'm just saying if last night was any indicator, Will Levis will have a better career. Now that's just based off of, or not last night, but on last weekend. I'm just saying based off of what happened, not overarching, because things will change even by next week. But Will
Yeah.
Levis, 13 to 24, 202 yards to the air with 1 touchdown and an interception, and he had a rushing touchdown on the day.
I thought Levis stepped up when it got to a point where it mattered. He kinda struggled a little bit early on, which, in the first half, Florida's defense looked like they were one of the best in college football, and then they get to the second half, and after they wore themselves out,
Yeah.
it was over. But Levis did his job. It was not pretty by any means. And going to your thing, I think we've talked about this before. We haven't talked about it on this podcast.
No.
I would love to see Levis go to in like the middle part of the first round to a team that might not have to use him year 1, because I think a year of development and with an NFL QB coach would be magnificent for him.
Oh yeah.
I mean, we saw what he did with Liam Cohen last year, who's the OC for the Rams, and I think going to not saying obviously going to the Rams would be really nice for
That's what I was
him.
about to
It's not going
say.
to happen,
Oh,
but
I mean, listen.
I don't think he lasts to where the Rams get to, which
I mean,
Rams keep playing like they did week 1. It ain't gonna be nothing. But we're gonna get to
yeah,
that in a
we'll
little
get to
bit.
that. Yeah, yeah.
No, Levis. He's a guy you draft for his intangibles. He
Right.
has a big arm. He runs really well. He makes the throws you want him to make. His decision making, no, I'd say like 85% of the time it's pretty good. That other 15%, you're like, what in the world you doing, man?
If Dane Key keeps getting open the way he has, he will be fine.
Yeah, yeah,
Dane Key had 3 receptions for 83 yards and a touchdown, which 3 receptions isn't a lot, but in this type of game, that was very important.
yeah. Because I mean, he literally led Kentucky's team in receptions because
Yeah,
Levis only had 13 completions. He only
yeah,
threw the ball 24 times.
yeah.
They weren't throwing the ball, and it's when you're a quarterback, it's hard to get in a rhythm when you throw the ball 20 times.
Oh yeah, I mean, in the swamp with all that energy and that noise,
Yeah.
like you said, like, and here's the thing: what you said about Will, I think applies to Anthony. I think these two are very similarly built quarterbacks, with the exception that
Hmm.
Will Levis is more of a battering ram and Anthony's more of a flashy runner.
Hmm.
But they both are run first, get through the defense, cut through them, run out of the pocket, find your opening, hit somebody in stride if you can, find your star, if you will.
Hmm.
Neither one of them. And what you said about Will got me thinking, and I completely agree. And this is where I'll be with both of these quarterbacks. Neither one of these two can start their first year because if they do, they will suffer.
Yeah. I mean, unless you see Richardson bounce back like and play like he did against Utah the rest of the year, you're not starting him week one
Even if he
as
does
your
bounce
NFL.
back some, he needs to develop.
But I mean, there's not really going to be the way I'm looking at it right now. I don't know how many quarterback needy teams there are going to be next year. Most of the teams that like
Depends on
I'm
what the Giants
thinking
do.
about. I mean, obviously the Giants are one of them. Texans could be one depending on how Davis Mills pans out this year because you never really know with him. Lions could be one just because Jared Goff is. We know what Jared Goff is at this point. He's a very average quarterback.
He's Alex Smith if Alex Smith couldn't run.
Eh,
Like accurate game manager, get the ball to his receivers, but Alex Smith could at least extend plays like well.
yeah, yeah.
Jared Goff
Huh.
cannot.
Yeah, but that offensive line is a lot better now.
No,
And
that
we're
yeah,
getting off
exactly.
we're getting off topic.
I know, I know, I
It's
know, I know. Anyway, here we. All right. Should we move on to the last game? I think we're gonna cover on this.
which was the last game you wanted to cover?
Well, I
I
mean,
didn't.
there are some I want to shout out, but I was just gonna say we should go over the Tennessee Pitt just real quick,
Yeah,
if
okay.
if you
I'm good
want
with
to.
that. That was probably the last one I would talk about.
That's the last rank versus rank.
Yeah,
Hendon Hooker,
that's a real
man.
big upset. But I'm not gonna lie. I I was not a Pitt believer coming in coming into this year. I was not a Tennessee believer either. And both of them played really, really well this Saturday.
Yeah.
I was I was impressed with Hooker. I was impressed with Tillman a lot. That dude balled.
Oh my gosh.
I mean, he played
My
fantastic.
boy Cedric could not stay. Like he couldn't stay covered if he wanted to. This man was just open.
No, he was open. 9 catches for 162 yards. Absolutely incredible.
Yeah.
Played an incredible game. I'm I was gonna talk about Pittsburgh's running back. I don't know how to say his name, so I'm not even gonna attempt it. But he had 25 carries for 154 yards, 76 for a long and a touchdown. He played
Abanikanda.
absolutely incredible. Carried Pittsburgh's offense because we all know Keaton Slovis is trash.
Yeah. I'm gonna try it.
He's not been good
Israel
since.
Abikanda. Abanikanda. Israel Abanikanda. What a fun
Sure,
name. Yeah.
that's what we're
25
going with.
carries, 154 yards, and a tutty.
That was very good. I would have loved to have seen Jordan Addison in this game,
Uh,
but he obviously transferred.
out. He's outie.
Yeah.
I respect
Can't I
Pitt.
can't really blame him.
No, no, I
I
respect
mean,
Pitt because like they're still respectable. They still have a like if not for Kedon Slavis, they would have a really good offense. Um, despite their best player being cherry picked by Lincoln Riley and USC.
yeah.
So yeah, I mean like everything you said, like I completely agree with. Tennessee, I think is legit. I think the SEC East is not the SEC East of yesteryear. We've got a lot of really tough teams this year.
Mhm.
Um, I think it will do just fine in the ACC. I don't know if they will repeat, but I think they will be tough in that conference.
They will.
I don't think it'll be just as easy of a walk as Clemson would want it to be. Um, but yeah, you said everything. I just want to say this name because I think it's fun. Gavin Bartholomew played well for Pitt.
I love
Uh,
a good Bartholomew.
I love a good Bartholomew. Name's Gavin. All right, that's enough off topic
Uh,
college football. I think. Well, I do need to
yeah.
say one thing.
Let's hear it.
If anybody's ever watched this show and kept up with us as we talk, they would know that I go to a university. I go to Eastern Kentucky University in Richmond, Kentucky, okay?
Roll Kearns.
Roll Kearns, baby. The Colonels of Eastern Kentucky. This past weekend, the FCS Eastern Kentucky University Colonels traveled up to Bowling Green, Ohio to take on, what are they, the Falcons of Bowling Green State?
I honestly have no idea. I just know him as Bowling Green.
7 overtimes later.
Yeah.
7 overtimes
Yep.
later. Eastern Kentucky University gets its first FBS win since 2014, winning 59-57 over the absolute atrocious Bowling Green State. I am so happy. Parker McKinney, just some shout outs for some of my EKU guys. 33 of 47 for 324 yards and 3 touchdowns. Braden Sloan with 9 carries, 56 yards and 2 touchdowns. Among other stats. I'm not going to read through this whole thing because we do need to move on. Actually, I'll read this. I will read the very last one.
Go ahead.
Jaden Smith, wide out for Eastern Kentucky University, 7 receptions, 102 yards. Carved that Falcon defense, and yeah, they are the Falcons. I think so.
What we're going with.
That's what I'm going with. I don't know. They are the Falcons. I knew it. That's all I wanted to say. We can move on now. I just had to give my my Kerns a shout out.
Okay. Moving on to the NFL, and what I'm going to do with this one is I'm actually going to start in reverse. We're going to start with the Monday Night Football game and kind of work our way back,
That's fair.
mainly because me and Ryan both would like to talk about the Steelers and Bengals game last. So we're going to work our way back, and then we'll go from there. So, Seahawks, Broncos. Geno Smith out here playing like an MVP. Not really. He played well. Russell Wilson was okay. I
Russ played
mean,
okay. Yeah, he played.
they scored 16 points against the Seahawks defense, which everybody predicted to be bottom 5 in the NFL. So, how good was he really?
Yeah, I mean, 29 of 42 for 340 yards and a touchdown. You want my honest opinion?
Let's hear it.
I think Russ did almost everything he could have done. Like yes, he didn't have the best rushing game. He didn't play great, but he still had 340 pass yards on 42 pass attempts. And here's the thing. At his age, with his skill level on that team, if you're not getting more help for him, I don't think you're going to get much else other than what you got on Monday.
Yeah.
You know what
I
I'm
mean,
saying? Like this isn't like you could just slap I don't know, like a Patrick Mahomes. Like if this was a Patrick Mahomes led Broncos team, they'd be a lot more dangerous, right?
yeah.
This is Russell Wilson.
Yeah, but I mean, I think I'm mainly saying this to stick by my take that I didn't think Russ would be really good, and then they come out here and lose week 1 to Seattle. So,
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
I just
I'm not
with
saying much, but I'm just
No,
saying.
no, I think you were definitely like on to something there. I don't want to put this all on Russ's shoulders because he played decent. Like he didn't. It's not like his
Mhm.
bad play caused them to lose. I think it was
No,
I
it
think
definitely didn't.
coaching mistakes led to their loss, and I just think a bunch of things, including his like when he was negative, he was negative. When his plays were
Yeah.
bad, they were bad. But
Yeah, I think the time management was a big issue. I don't have an issue with them kicking the field goal, and I'll tell you why, because he had the power.
yeah,
Like, the leg was not the issue on the kick, it just went left, and that
right,
happens, it does. We
yeah.
we we saw it all weekend, kickers were just missing.
Yeah, some for other reasons than just because they were missing, but we'll get to that
Yeah,
when we get there.
yeah,
Anywho, before we go off topic and go to what we shouldn't get to yet.
yeah,
Yeah, I mean, he didn't get much help from his running back room. Melvin Gordon and Javante didn't really play up to par. I'm shocked Melvin is still the lead back. I thought for certain that Javante was going to take over, but he didn't. Um,
I'm kinda okay with them splitting still because they both played really well last year. They didn't play that well at all this weekend, but they still played well last year, so I'm okay
yeah,
with them still kinda splitting. I think Melvin's this is kinda like his l not last good year, but, like, one of his last good years.
yeah. You want to give him a fair shot to ride his prime out
Yeah,
fully.
he is still Melvin Gordon, has the vision, has the speed.
Yeah,
You just I mean, his only issue in the past has been kinda staying healthy. I think if he's healthy, he's gonna be
yeah.
still getting his snaps.
The only thing I can say, because like you can't point to the defense of the Broncos because they only held Seattle to 17 points, right? You can't
Mhm.
point to offensive production because, like I said, Russ had 340 yards and a touchdown. Where is it? Jerry Jeudy had 4 receptions for 102 yards. Cortland Sutton had 4 receptions for 72 yards. Javonte Williams out of the backfield, 11 receptions for 65 yards. Like they had people getting open. Russ was finding them. It was just wasted possessions and time management. That's what killed Denver today. And I don't think
Mhm.
both of those are completely on Russ.
No, I think I feel like they had a lot of drives where they were just getting they weren't scoring touchdowns. They were getting the yards and then just not putting it in the end zone, which is what you pay a guy 256 million for.
Right.
I digress.
No, I understand. That second half was bad.
It was rough.
That second half was rough, but I digress. I agree with you, but I also lightly play devil's advocate and disagree with you for what
I
just
get it.
being honest.
Yeah. Listen, he did not play that bad. I'm just gonna do it because I made
I
the
know.
take,
I
so
know.
I'm hoping
I respect that you're sticking by it.
I'm sticking by it. Like
Yeah.
I'm not letting that one go.
Yeah. I
Like
mean,
we're gonna come back at the end of the year, the man's gonna win MVP, and I'm still gonna be sticking by it that he probably wasn't that good.
I hope he does actually. That'd be comedy. No, if he wins
That's messed
MVP,
up.
if he means MVP, that would mean that the Broncos probably got close to winning the AFC West, and that's the last thing I want to see.
Yeah.
Um, so I hope I actually take it back. I hope you are correct, and I hope that they don't win
Thank
anything.
you. Thank
Um,
you.
all right, yeah. I don't know what else to say. Seattle did what
Uh,
they had to do. A pretty bad team. Got lucky with a team that should have won.
yeah, they can go 1-16 in peace now.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, moving on, let's go with the Sunday night football game, which was the Buccaneers and the Cowboys. My
Oh
God, the
my.
Cowboys are terrible.
They're so bad.
They are god awful. The defense looks horrendous. I don't know how the Bucks only scored 19, but they they sh- they should have given up probably a lot more. The offense, even with Dak, was not good. Without Dak, it's going to be completely terrible. CeeDee Lamb was not what we expected him to be. Granted, he didn't have anybody out there to help him. I
No.
mean, they were throwing out what his name is Noah
Yeah,
something
Noah
Brown,
Brown. Noah
Noah
Brown.
Brown, Noah Brown, and Simi Fioco, which they're not terrible. They're not the guys you want to be your second and third receivers, which their second and third receivers are hurt. James Washington's hurt. Michael Gallup is hurt. I think they're trying to get him back this week, but it might be the next, which, but you're throwing out Zeke, who does not look like prime Zeke. Uh, Tony Pollard was Tony Pollard. You get what you're expecting out of him.
Yeah. I mean,
But
well,
other
no,
than
you got a lot less. Six rushes for 8 yards.
yeah, this
Two
was not
receptions for
his.
14. That's awful.
I mean, he did have they were rocking with Cooper Rush, so
No,
I don't
you're
expect
you're right. You're right. Now here's
you're not going to be able to run the ball when Cooper Rush is your quarterback. You just can't
no, you're right.
because you're going to put 7 guys in the box
Just
and be like,
dude,
okay,
pressure
feed
that
us.
man. Yeah, pressure that
Yeah.
man. Like if
W-
you can make the throw with Cooper Rush, applaud. Like like good for you. Um
Yeah, the Buccaneers did something that the Steelers can never do, and that's beat a backup quarterback.
yeah. 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 So
Yeah.
here this is all I'll say about CD Lamb. You're right, he is the only guy out there, but I think that puts more emphasis on him to make those catches and like yes, he was covered more, but that still doesn't that does not cover for dropped passes. This man was
No,
getting
no, it does not.
so many right in his face mask and in his chest and he just could not grab them. And
Yeah,
I think in honestly, I'm going to say this about this game. This is what I took away, okay?
mhm,
We talked earlier in our NFC East breakdown in the offseason about how Dallas did
mhm,
nothing but lose.
yeah.
So this isn't really shocking to me that they are as bad as they are. I'm more shocked that Jerry Jones is sticking with Mike McCarthy. But
I think he lasts to maybe the bye week,
yeah, I agree. But what
just
I
because Jerry's stubborn enough to be like, I don't want to admit my mistake.
he's my coach. I hired him. It's not his fault.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, no. So my bigger takeaway from this game is, and I heard someone somewhere say this that they felt that the Bucks were the best team in the NFL.
Mhm.
But I just didn't get that from this game. Like
No,
Julio played bad, but I meant to say Leonard Fournette played well, 21 carries for 127 yards, and that's the only reason their offense was any sort of serviceable.
and
Um,
like LSU, Leonard Fournette.
yeah, he did. He did. And like Tom played good, 18 for 27, 212 yards through the air, a touchdown and an interception. Mike Evans, 5 receptions for 71 yards and that 1 touchdown. Julio, he had that two. Sorry, he had 2 carries for 17 yards, and he had 3 receptions for 69 yards. So I like. Here's the thing: this Bucks team, we know what we're gonna get. Julio will play better. Mike Evans will play well. Chris Godwin was hurt, but if he can stay
Yeah,
healthy, like that receiver room is gonna be fine. But their losses to the offensive line, they don't like
that's
will add up.
I think that's been the biggest issue is that offensive line is just not what it was last year.
No, like
No
that.
fault of their own. I mean, they had all-pro guard retire before the season, and
Yeah.
then his backup gets hurt, and his backup gets hurt.
Yeah, no, it's not. It's not the Bucks' fault, but it's the lack of offensive line that will hurt them in the end. It's the lack
Yeah.
of a true tight end that will hurt them in the end.
Mhm.
I really think that this is more telling from Tampa Bay's perspective because yes, you still have Tom Brady and he still has a receiver room and a running back, but you cannot count on Leonard Fournette to give you 127 yards weekly.
No, not especially not with that offensive line. Like,
No,
again, if Dallas wasn't so terrible,
yeah,
that game is completely different.
you're only putting up 19 points on a really bad Cowboys defense, and I really think that what was I guess from an offensive perspective, it was more telling that the Bucks are going to struggle a lot more this year, and I think they lose a lot more games that they should win because they can't score as much. But also, their defense might be the best in the league. Their defense played
Mhm.
great,
Their
like
defense was really good.
against obviously a really bad Cowboys offense. But that Tampa Bay
They did their
defense,
job.
yeah, they look
That's the thing.
scary.
Yeah.
And
If
so,
you're coming out there and doing your job right, that's that
yeah,
is that is one of the peak NFL defenses, just
yeah.
doing your job.
And I will give this to Tampa Bay. If they're not scoring a lot, but they're in tight games, and the last possession, like you're in a situation where you're just giving the ball to Tom Brady to score, you're probably going to win a
Mhm.
lot of games.
Yeah.
But
I think they're gonna have a really good regular season.
I don't even know. Like they will have a good regular season. I still think they'll run into some like even I know the NFC is a more wide open race than the AFC. I just feel like they'll run into teams with more serviceable offenses, and they'll just get outran. If it looks the way it did this week, the entire season, if their line can't get healthy and if they can't find a tight end to throw to.
It could. I'm excited to see kinda the progression that they go with. I think, Tom wasn't there for a little bit of it, so I think that kinda hurt him a little bit.
Yeah,
They're kinda gonna get in more rhythm offensively.
right,
Godwin coming back, Brady kinda getting back in his rhythm. I
right.
feel like that'll help a lot and kinda carry them through more games than what you're originally thinking, because like, chemistry and time on the field, they matter. Like,
Oh yeah,
I saw a stat this morning, and it said 8 of the 11 quarterbacks who did not play in the preseason lost.
oh yeah. No, I mean
I mean,
it counts for it.
it does. Granted, one of them was Joe Burrow, and he had appendicitis, like, he got his appendix removed. You're not gonna play him in
Regardless,
the preseason.
we're gonna talk about that later. But regardless, it still counts in my mind. We'll go over
It
that
does.
later. We'll go over that
Yes.
later. But
Yeah. I was
anywho,
just throwing that in there.
I know. Just final thoughts on the Bucks Cowboys.
Cowboys, mm,
Big doo doo.
probably they're not gonna win their division. The Eagles are winning that division. They might come in 3rd.
Yeah.
The Commies didn't look bad. I'm sorry, Commanders didn't look bad.
If Carson Wentz can play the way he did last night every week, they will actually be pretty tough
Yeah,
in
yeah.
a weak
Uh,
NFC.
yeah, it was, he played really well, and, Gibson didn't fumble the ball.
Oh, are we going over
Love this.
the Jaguars Commanders now, or are we going on to?
Chiefs, Cardinals.
That's what I thought. I thought that was going to be the next one, but were we talking about Carson Wentz? I thought maybe we were going on.
Uh, no,
Regardless,
we'll save that one for a little bit.
okay,
Chiefs, Cardinals. Chiefs absolutely dominated. The Cardinals were the Cardinals without D-Hop, which was not great. Mahomes had 5 touchdowns. Cardinals still don't have a defense. J.J. Watt's hurt. Chandler Jones is gone. They have no pass rush whatsoever. They're probably going to lose a good amount until JJ's back.
agreed. The Cardinals need to figure out what they're going to do in their running back room because their leading two rushers were Kyler Murray and Eno Benjamin.
Was James Conner hurt?
No, he rushed 10 times. He just did not. He got
Uh,
26 yards.
I mean, their offensive line isn't incredible, and
You want to know who
it's
their fourth leading rusher was?
who's their fourth leading
Just take
rusher?
a guess. I want you to guess. Guess who their fourth leading rusher was.
Uh,
It was Kyler.
Hollywood.
Sorry, who?
Hollywood.
No, No,
No?
because Kyler Murray,
Andy
Eno,
Isabella.
Eno Benjamin, James Conner, and Trace McSorley.
Really? Wow.
3 carries
Well,
for 20 yards.
yeah, that would make sense. I'm still upset about it, but that would make sense.
Yep. No, I mean I think this offense is not good, which is shocking because like I know that they're missing D Hop, but they still have Hollywood and they've still got some pieces. And if Kyler Murray is going to be the guy that got paid the way he did, he should still be able to make it work with what he's got, and he did not.
Yeah, I agree, but, I was also not the biggest Hollywood fan, if we remember from
Yeah,
The
no,
NFC West.
I
I was not the biggest fan of that move. I'm still not, but he's kinda all they got right now. They really need to rely on him, and they couldn't.
know. It's
Um, that was just that was kind of an easy game to run through because the Chiefs did what they needed to do,
Pat Mahomes
and
played out of
yeah,
his mind.
Mahomes played really well. The receiving room looked better than what we thought that it would.
Yeah.
Coming in well, than you thought it would. I thought they were gonna be really good still.
No,
Clyde played really well, which impressed me. He didn't have that many carries, but he caught the ball well, and he ran decent when he got his carries. So I was impressed with Clyde
yeah.
coming out and playing like he did.
I will
The
say
defense did
week
exactly
1
what you
they
wanted them
they
to.
proved me wrong. Week 1. They did.
Yeah,
They have.
they proved me right.
They did.
They
Travis
they
Kelsey
did
had
prove me
8
right.
catches for 121 yards, which you can't rely on. But what you can rely on is
I don't
Juju
know, you can't rely on it.
for 121. You thinking he's going to get 100 receiving yards a game for Travis
He
Kelsey?
could.
I listen. I think
He's
Travis.
he's going to be their primary option. Let's be
Yes.
honest. He could do it.
I think Travis is the best tight end in the league. I still don't think he's going to be able to hit that mark. I think you can rely on Juju to get you 79 yards on 6 catches per week. I think
Yep.
Valdez Scantling can get you 4 yards for 44 receptions and more. I think a lot more. Um, so yeah, and Miko Hardman barely did anything. So maybe
I I think it's about time that we just give up on me, Cole. Like, dude's fast. He's probably gonna be a good return man for a while, but as a receiver,
yeah,
he's not what we thought he was coming in. Actually, he is what we thought he was coming in. We just thought he'd be able to develop more as like a route runner and as a receiver, and he
no,
just hasn't. He just hasn't. Because like you think about it, dude should be in the slot every play, just, absolutely torching linebackers and third corners, but he just can't,
no.
and I don't get it. Mainly because even if he does torch him, he's probably not gonna catch it. So, like, what are we doing here with Cole? It's about time that we just let him kinda,
Fade into
let
the
him return.
ether.
Yeah, let him return and throw some other receivers out there.
Agreed.
Um, that was a quick one. Let's go on to the Raiders and the Chargers.
Charges,
Uh,
greatest
Justin
charges.
Herbert looking elite. Love it. The Raiders were really good along with the Chargers. That Khalil Mack signing is looking fantastic now.
Oh,
The
so
Chandler Jones signing is looking really good for the Raiders.
great.
I mean, the Devontae Adams played really well. Genuinely, if the Raiders aren't playing the Chargers this game or they win, the Chargers are just really good.
Yeah,
I mean,
3 interceptions from Derek
both
Carr.
of those teams should make the playoffs.
I think that that's
I, I don't
fair.
I don't know how you feel about it, but I'm putting them as probably I don't think that they win the division. I still think the Chiefs win the division, but I think they could both get like a 5 and 6, if not like, 7. I still think they both make the playoffs because they are
I'm a
really good.
stick. I'm a stick with my pick in the offseason. I said the Raiders would win the West, and I'm gonna stick with it. I think this is just a early season woes from Derek
Yeah.
Carr with 3 picks. He still had
Mhm.
295 yards and 2 touchdowns, so like he still played
Yeah.
well.
Yeah, he this happens kinda every year with quarterbacks and stuff like that, where they'll come out, throw for a lot of yards, throw for a few picks, and throw for a couple touchdowns, and we're like, "Was he really that bad?" And then they come
Yeah,
out the next week and they throw for 300 yards, 3 touchdowns, maybe a pick, maybe not, and
people
you're just
light
like,
it up.
"Okay, he's good."
Yeah,
Yeah. Who they got next week?
the Raiders have. Let me look. I will see.
The Cardinals. Oh, they're
They're
running
going
through
to
them.
be fine. Yeah, they will be fine.
Yeah. That's basically their warm-up game because they're gonna have no pressure in the pocket whatsoever.
Right. No, they will be
Um,
fantastic, Nick. And
Yeah,
like I said, I'm
that's a good one for them.
this game was fun. It was awesome to watch.
Mhm. It's a good
Justin
game to watch.
Herbert, Justin Herbert. I don't even know who to compare him to. He's going to be a guy, and I think this goes without being said. He might be one of the best talents I've ever seen.
Yeah,
Like his
so
just
happy I was right about him coming out of college.
there's just
So happy.
there's nothing that I see him do that I think, man, he needs to work on that. Like everything he does is done so well.
Yeah, it is. I mean, he if I mean, let's be honest, when their play calling is right, bro, they're so good
I, he
because he is so good.
he's
Even when their play calling is bad, he still makes it look decent. That's
yeah.
the thing.
Like
And it's just
there are
I would love to see him with an Andy Reid. I know he's not
oh
gonna
my
get one, but I would
gosh,
absolutely love to see him with one.
there are a few guys that I fear like this season. Patty Mahomes is one, but my Bengals beat him last year, so I feel like he's beatable. You know what I mean? Not to say that Justin
Yeah.
Herbert's not beatable. We definitely have seen his team lose, but there's just something about the way that Justin plays that I guess it's just like I don't know how we would stop him. You know,
No, yeah.
you can kind of sort of limit Pat Mahomes, kind of. Like you can do enough to win the game, right? If
I think the way you beat the Chargers is let the Chargers beat themselves.
yeah,
That's
like
how it's
but
always been. You have to let the Chargers beat themselves
but
because
what
they have all of the
happens?
talent in the world.
What happens if they start being a competent football team?
Honestly, if they stay healthy, they have a chance to win it.
That's what I'm
All of it.
saying. Like if they don't beat themselves, I don't know if there's beating them.
I mean,
If someone came up to me today and said the Chargers are the best team in the NFL, I would have a hard time debating you.
yeah. Let's put it this way. Quarterback, I think they have a top 5 quarterback. I will put Justin Herbert there. I don't really care what anybody says. He's in my top 5 quarterbacks. Austin Eckler, most people have him top 5. I think he's top 10 at minimum, so, kick rocks. Their receiving room is top 10. Their offensive line is so far improved
Hmm?
from what it was a couple years ago, which was the reason they lost a couple years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Their defensive line looks incredible with the addition of Khalil Mack. They're basically 2 top 10 pass rushers in the NFL,
Yep.
maybe top 15 depending on where you're putting Khalil Mack, but Joey Bosa is one of those dudes that you're just like, okay, you were good. Linebacking room is not as great as you would like it to be, but, you can't have everything. You just can't.
Right.
The corners are good.
That
Love
secondary, dude.
that secondary is incredible. JC Jackson is a top 10 cornerback, and Derwin James is the best safety in football. I love Minka. He's not close to what Derwin James does when he's healthy.
No, agreed. I'm not gonna really pick up on what you said because you said everything I was thinking.
Yeah, I mean, there really isn't much there's not really much else you can say about them.
No.
Like, if they're healthy, they're one of the top 3 teams in football, in my opinion,
Oh yeah, no. I
talent-wise. That
as I've
uh,
said, if
coaching comes down to a lot of their issues, or
yeah,
has recently.
I agree. I agree. But like I said, if someone was to debate me on the best team in the NFL, and if someone said the Chargers, I'd have a hard time saying they were wrong.
I would as well. I mean, the only I other other than that, I don't think there is a more talented roster in the NFL than
There's
them.
not.
I don't think that anybody could tell me that there was, and I would agree.
There just isn't. Like there just is
There's
not a more talented
not.
roster.
I mean, I don't think you could make this argument. It kinda depends on what Trey Lance is, but the Niners,
There's
roster-wise, they have a
there's
really good roster, but I don't think it compares to what
no.
the Chargers are,
There's
mainly because of Justin Herbert.
one team you can look at me in the eye and say is better than in terms of overall than the Chargers right now. And if you said Buffalo, I would not
Yeah.
argue that.
I would give you that one. I still think
That's it.
that
That's
the
it.
Chargers have a more talented roster, but Buffalo is coached better.
Buffalo is coached better, but that's a part of the team, like overarching.
Mhm.
Like you got talent, and then you
Yeah,
got coaching, and I think exactly. I think that Sean McDermott is such a good coach, and they're so
he is.
close talent wise. Like while the Chargers probably do have more, Sean McDermott puts them over the edge for me. So I would say the
Mhm.
Bills, but like I said, if you said Chargers, I wouldn't be mad.
No, I don't think I would be either. Um, let's go on to the next one, which is Titans and Giants. I was really looking forward to talking about this one,
What a
mainly
game.
because we were both right about the Titans.
Yeah, I know. Like dude, what happened?
Wh Saquon went off,
I know. It's
and
fantastic.
they didn't and the Tennessee Titans decided not to give Derrick Henry the ball.
Which is ridiculous. I know he's coming off of an injury, but come on, dude.
Listen, Hillard played a good game, don't get me wrong, he did, but you have Derrick Henry. Like,
Uh,
Derrick Henry last year was the best running back in football till he got hurt.
yeah,
This year, he's I don't think many people are talking about him as that guy. He still can be. If they keep giving him the touches that he's been getting, he's going I mean, he can have 1,500 yards rushing, no
yeah.
problem. They decided not to give him the ball.
Over.
Bit of a questionable decision. Um, I don't really have the stats for this one. I didn't get to watch it. I got to watch, like, the end part of it, which uh I loved the call by the Giants to go for
Oh
it.
yeah, no,
Loved it.
gutsy.
Yeah, it was. I think the ball's gonna win a lot of people over with calls like that.
Oh, see that's the thing. Like I watched a good hunk of this game, and it was weird to see the Giants have like really smart play call. Like
Mhm,
this is the same Giants team we've seen the last however many years. Like like the same names. Like nothing's really different about them. Yes, they added some pretty good pieces, but like when you look at this Giants team, you're like, okay, this is the same team that loses 12, 13 games a year.
mhm,
And the play call was insane because like it wasn't like big things. Like you weren't looking
mhm.
at them and being like, oh wow, that was a home run call, but it was just like smart.
Yeah,
Like the
they had really great not great, really good offensive play calling,
their play call
and it
was
was
so
just
smart for
it's
who they have.
different.
Yeah,
Yeah, like, the past Giants coaches, like, the past 3 Giants coaches we've seen have been terrible when it comes to clock management and offensive play calling in crunch time, and this was completely different, and I'm kinda here for it.
yeah,
The Giants still have a lot of work to do. Uh, Danny Dimes came out there, threw 17 for 21, 188, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. He did what he needed to. I mean,
that's the most you're gonna get out of
yeah,
Daniel
that is
Jones.
what you get out of Daniel Jones. He is not an elite quarterback.
No,
I think he is a below average quarterback, but he played really well.
yeah,
The thing that did concern me with, the Giants was Kadarius Toney playing 7 total snaps.
that was bad. Yeah,
That
I don't know
that
what
made me
happened.
question it, but I think with the way that he went about his offseason and kinda like, him wanting out after 1 year and then not even really a good year, um you weren't gonna he wasn't gonna win anybody over with
No,
that. He's going to basically have to earn every snap that he gets the rest of the year.
right.
Like, he is in that boat where if he screws up once, he's getting benched. He
Hmm.
didn't even screw up and got benched. I think he ran the ball twice, had 23 yards, and I think he had one of their longest runs of the day and got pulled immediately.
Yeah, and I mean,
That yeah, that
here's the
makes you
thing:
question it a little bit, but I get it. I get why they did it.
you didn't need him.
No, you didn't
Like
because
that's
Saquon carried the ball 18 times for 164 yards.
yeah. I mean that's the biggest thing that like you just didn't need him, and I don't know if they will. Not to say Saquon's going to get you 164 yards per game. I don't think you can rely on him for that, but you can rely on him to probably star.
Mhm.
And as long as Danny keeps coming out and doing what he needs to do, and if this play call can just be the best it can be for what they have, they will finish at 500.
Yeah, I mean that is a if you're getting this kind of performance out of Daniel Jones, this is a 500 team.
Yeah,
I don't know how much you can rely on that because we all know that Daniel Jones is Daniel Jones and he's inevitably going to have a game where he throws 3 interceptions and they lose.
yeah, probably off a
But
pick six.
he was put in really good positions, and he was not having to go out and play hero ball like he had to last year, which is not Daniel Jones' forte.
Nope.
He is not a hero ball quarterback.
Nope. I agree.
Titans wise, Ryan Tannehill 20 for 33, 266, 2 touchdowns. Henry 21 carries for 82 yards. In a game like this, I would like them to give him the ball more.
Agreed.
Ma the I will give the Titans, credit for one thing. They spread the ball out really well, throwing it,
Yeah.
but, you know, still not the biggest fan of their offensive game plans, which has kinda been the critique of the Titans for the last little while, outside of when they were just giving Derrick Henry the ball and running it. What their offensive game plan was not great. Um, I wouldn't be shocked to see the Titans start off really bad and Malik Willis coming in.
That's what I literally what I was about to ask was over under until Malik gets put in there because they need a spark.
I think over under would be week 6.
Wow. I was gonna go. I
Yeah.
was gonna at least give 8.
Really? I mean, if they start off 1 and 5
No, you're right. I
or
think
1 and 4,
I just think Vrabel will be he'll be stubborn about changing his quarterback because he thinks that because like think about it, what he's had the past forever has been successful. So he's gonna try and stick with it.
yeah, but if it's not successful, he's smart enough to be like, "All right, we need something different,
One does
and this
hope.
kid is different."
One does hope.
I'm a big Brable guy. Apparently the people in Vegas are not because he had, like, the 4th highest odds to get fired.
I don't understand. He's done so
I
well.
Yeah, I don't get that one either. I really don't. It is not favorite thing that betting odds have come out with, but we all know when they release these betting odds like that, they know something,
Yeah. So I
which
don't know.
means that they're talking about it.
Is
It's been
Tennessee not
discussed.
happy with the fact that they've been as far as they've been? And so this past 5 year stretch has been the best that they've been since 2001.
Yeah,
And they're talking about firing the guy that took them there. I don't even want to get into that can of worms. That makes me
especially with the roster that they're throwing out there because let's be honest, it's not that good.
no. It
Not
actually
anymore.
really makes me angry that that's like even a consensus.
Yeah, but we all know what they're gonna do. They're gonna blame the coaches. They always do.
Always, it's just a bad
Yeah.
roster.
It is. It's not good. They did nothing to improve it, and,
They got worse. What are you talking about?
y yeah, they got worse. They just yeah,
Drastically, I would say.
yeah. Let's move on to, Vikings-Packers, which I think was a,
Oh,
not,
so
this
angry.
yeah.
My sleeper league,
I
dude.
think what I would
Our
like to
sleeper
start
league.
off with, um why is Jaire Alexander not covering Justin Jefferson every play of that game? I understand there was one play where he got absolutely dusted, but it's Justin Jefferson. It's gonna happen. It is. I mean, he absolutely killed the other people that they were putting on him, so why not put Jaire Alexander on him, who is a top 5 cornerback in the NFL? I don't get it. I don't like the Packers' game plan. Offensively, they were, not good. Allen Lazard was hurt, which definitely hurt their receiving room.
Robert
Aaron
Tunyon wasn't
Jones,
healthy.
yeah, Tonyan wasn't healthy. Aaron Jones played well, Dillon played well, but outside of those 2, Rodgers didn't look great, which, he didn't play in the preseason, and we were talking about it earlier, how not playing in the preseason, I think it really does affect quarterbacks, especially early in the year. The Vikings did what you kind of expect the Vikings to do. Ran the ball, threw it to Justin Jefferson, played really good defensively, and they didn't screw it up.
No, I want to give the Vikings defense a lot of credit too because like while the Packers offense just looks scrambled and
Mhm.
disheveled, that Vikings defense a lot like Tampa Bay. They not only did they play well, but they did what they had to do to win the game.
I th as, I don't know if we've talked about this. I think that the Darius Smith signing might be the most underrated signing in the NFL.
Oh, for sure.
I don't know if we talked about that enough
I
when
don't
we were
think we
covering,
did.
the North. It is the North, yeah.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
I don't think we talked about it enough. We covered it on there, but we didn't talk about it enough. I think that is the most underrated signing in the NFL because he still has juice left in him, and him and Danielle Hunter is deadly.
Oh, yeah. No, I completely agree. I mean,
It's a what is it, a top 2 pass rushing duo in the NFL with Mack and
yeah. No,
Bosa.
I agree. I mean, this is a Vikings defense. I got 4 sacks on the day against this is Aaron Rodgers. Like you're not gonna
Mhm.
rush him, but if you're gonna beat him, you got to hit him.
N Yeah, normally you rush Aaron Rodgers, you're gonna pay because he is smarter than you.
Yeah. Kristen
He just has
Watson
been.
wasn't catching anything. Alan Lazar was out.
N
Tunyon wasn't healthy, as you said.
Yeah.
He had to rely a lot more on his backfield to catch passes, which leads to shorter pass attempts, which leads to the defense just coming straight down, and because he couldn't have
Yeah.
anybody downfield. The thing with the Packers is they came out as if they still had Devontae.
Yeah, and they definitely did not.
No, they played awful. Like, and I said it as we came into this. My fantasy, my dynasty league, our dynasty league suffered because Aaron Rodgers
Wow.
can't play.
Listen, I won convincingly. I'm chilling.
I got blown out.
I saw you scored the least in the league. I saw the picture. I was just like,
I got
poor Ryan.
I'm hurt, man. All my
Yeah,
I don't even want to talk about it. But
yeah.
to put it into perspective,
You just had a really rough Sunday, didn't you?
it was just a bad day.
Yeah,
Like it just wasn't like everyone either underperformed or just didn't perform at all.
yeah. Well, if it makes you feel better, my keeper league, literally there was one person that scored over 10 points.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I scored a combined 70 points. And it's just that all my guys got hurt.
Ah.
T. Higgins got hurt. Najee got hurt. I can pull up the roster here because I want to talk about this because it was very infuriating.
Sounds like
Herbert
it.
Herbert played good. Damian Harris was not. Terry McLaurin scored 12. T got hurt. Kyle Pitts put up like 3 points. Deontay, he put up 8, and Drake London put up 9.9.
Oh, you
I
want
scored
some
a whopping 70 points.
exactly why I dealt Terry McLaurin in our league is what
Mm-hmm.
happened. He got 12 points. That's the usual for him, is from what I've
Mm-hmm.
seen. Like he goes off every now and then, but usually he scores between 12 and 15. One of the centerpieces in that deal was Elijah Mitchell,
Yeah,
who's
and
now
he's
on
on
the
IR.
IR.
You can't trust 49ers running backs.
I'm so angry. He's 24. He's young. I'm thinking I got 5 years of this guy. Immediately gets
Mm.
hurt.
Yeah, immediately IR guy.
Oh
Uh,
well.
yeah. Let's go on to the next game because we've been doing this a little bit, and I know we're gonna spend a long time on one game specifically.
Yeah. We can
So
start flying through some if you want, like
yeah,
stopping
let's
on the good
kind of
ones.
yeah, let's make this one quick because I think this should be a quick game. Commanders beat the Jaguars 28-22.
Good
The
game.
Commanders did what you want them to. They, I mean, they threw the ball well. They ran the ball well.
Yeah.
Um, I was really impressed with Jahan Dotson. He played well.
Did.
McLaurin played well. Curtis Samuel getting back to what you want Curtis Samuel to be. They really just played good. Jacksonville did kind of what you expect Jacksonville to do. What I am not shocked by at all, and it is why I dealt him in one of the leagues. Travis Etienne is going to play second fiddle to James Robinson.
Yeah.
James Robinson is one of those got that dog in him kind of guys, and I don't think Travis Etienne is kind of that guy. He had 4 carries for 47 yards.
Not bad.
Not
That's
what
pretty
you
good,
really.
but not what
It
you
is
want.
not you would love to see him getting 15 carries instead of 4. You kind of you want him to be a feature back. It's absolutely impressive that James Robinson came back as quick as he did from his Achilles?
Yes.
I believe it was his Achilles.
I agree. I think well no, wait. Was it his meniscus? No, it was his Achilles.
No,
Okay.
it was his Achilles.
Yes, no, yeah, you're right. I thought
Absolutely
it was his.
impressive because he tore it late in the season and he's already back. Love that for him. That's a great comeback. Christian Kirk absolutely balled out.
My boy. I do
I
have him
was
on fantasy.
not very right about I was not very right about him. I did not expect him to be the guy that he came out and played like.
I
Um,
got so many calls about that man in our sleeper league, and I refused, and I got rewarded. The one thing that went right for me.
Trevor Lawrence came out and threw the ball 42 times, 1 touchdown, 1 interception.
He did not.
Um,
He listen.
he did not look great.
Let
He did
me.
not look terrible, but he did not look
When
great.
playing Carson Wentz, Trevor Lawrence looked more like Carson Wentz than Carson Wentz did.
Yeah,
Does that make sense? Like just
I
inconsistent.
I get what yeah, I get what you're saying. Like you kind of again because the Jaguars still don't have a really good offensive line, you're gonna see him struggle like that and stuff like that because dude's probably terrified. He's probably running for his life.
Yeah.
But this is the Commanders, and you would like to see him have a better game. He didn't play terrible. He didn't. But again, you would like to see him have a better game than what he did.
Yeah.
Um,
Carson Wentz played pretty good.
yeah, he did.
I know we already covered it, but I'm
I
just
was
gonna.
very shocked.
I also have him on my bench.
Naturally. Let's go on to the Ravens Jets. Ravens win 24-9. Joe Flacco came out and threw the ball 60 times. Um, I kind of question that a little.
That's what you're gonna do.
More than a little, actually. Mainly because you have Michael Carter and Breece Hall, and they combined for 16 carries. Don't like that at really all. But Corey Davis came out and played like Corey Davis does when he's healthy. 6 receptions, 77 yards. Garrett Wilson had 4 receptions for 52. Elijah Moore 5 for 49. Michael Carter 5 for 40. Breece Hall 6 for 38. They were checking down a lot,
What else
which
are you gonna do with the Joe
you kind of
Flacco?
yeah, you kind of expect it because this Ravens defense is good. Um, I did I did see I did like what the Ravens did offensively. They didn't throw it too much. They ran the ball like you kind of expect them to. They didn't run it as much. Mainly
Do
they didn't really
anything
throw
with it?
it too much or run it too much. Like Lamar had 213 passing yards and I think they had like let me do some quick math here, like 60 yards rushing. Not necessarily what you love to see, but I mean,
So
it was the
you
Jets.
want to
They
see
did what they
more?
needed to. Yeah, you wanna see more, obviously, but Lamar did not, again, play in the preseason, and I think that makes a difference. They should be getting J.K. Dobbins back this week too, so I think that offense starts looking a little bit better very soon.
Agreed. No, I mean, like, I think in terms of the Jets throwing 60 times with Flacco, I mean, Coach Soleil, what else are you gonna do? You're waiting for Zach to come back, so you're just gonna throw it with the guy that you got in there because you don't like you're not like trying to protect Joe Flacco. You're gonna do what you need to do to win
No.
the game.
No, I kinda I understand why they did it. You're not gonna throw with when you have Flacco out there, you're not necessarily going to win that game. Just kinda throw out stuff. See what you got. They basically treat it as another preseason game where you're just testing stuff out. I think that's kinda how they did it. They're still very young. They did well defensively. I mean, that's what you're gonna get out of a select coach team. You're going to do well defensively. So, I'm proud how they played defensively. They get Zach Wilson back. I'm excited to see offensively how they do because I think it will be better than the 9 points that they scored.
Oh, agreed. No worries, Jets
Uh,
fans.
yeah.
You're still gonna suck.
You're gonna suck, but you're on the come up. Saints Falcons. The Saints come out and do what you not really what you expect them to do because they were getting blown out, but they scored 17 in the fourth quarter to win. Jameis played well. He was hurt, but he played well. Taysom Hill led the team in rushing yards. Not necessarily what you want to see,
No.
but
Why is Alvin
you
Kamara
know,
rushing 9 times?
I
That's
don't
it.
know,
That's all you
brother.
could
I
give him.
don't know. Yeah, dude was averaging 4 yards an attempt, which is exactly what you want out of a running back, and he gets the ball 9 times. Jarvis Landry comes out and absolutely balls,
Like,
which is incredible to me. I thought he was washed. I'm gonna be real. I thought he was washed.
yeah,
He comes out, has 7 receptions for 114 yards. Uh, they
nearly
they
half of
just
passing yards in the game.
Yeah, they did what you need them to do. Mariota had a very Mariota-esque game too, where he didn't turn it over, didn't score a touchdown through the air. He ran the ball really well, 12 rushes, 72 yards with a touchdown. Cordero coming out when
Why
their
is
running
he
back
still
gets hurt.
balling? Why? Like, why is he still
Um,
doing this?
I think this is genuinely like this was what he was meant to be doing. Because like I think you see when he was returning kicks that he had very good field vision. Dude had stone hands. I don't know why nobody else thought, "Hey, maybe we should let this guy run the ball." It's probably because he's like 6'3". But,
Yeah.
positional molds anymore aren't necessarily the biggest thing. You're seeing shorter quarterbacks, you're seeing bigger running backs, you're seeing bigger receivers, smaller receivers, like, stop with your positional mold bull crap that the NFL has been about for the last 40 years, whatever it is, and, just let the dudes go out and play that can play.
Dude, I will
Yeah,
say you
that's
called it about Drake London.
Drake London's good.
He played
Drake
well.
London is very good. Kyle Pitts come out having 2 receptions for 19 yards. Not exactly what I wanna see, but he wasn't necessarily the main focus of the offense.
At all.
Cordero was, and then in typical Atlanta fashion, they blow it.
I was gonna say at the start of this, I just want to give this out there to Atlanta fans because like I feel like they're the closest thing to experiencing the pain that a Cincinnati sports fan felt for the last 25 years. Um, I relate to you, and I'm sorry. I'm happy that it's not us anymore. So you
Hey,
guys can,
at least you got the
yeah,
Braves.
you guys can hold that L, and you can stick with baseball. I've never seen one franchise across multiple different coaches, quarterbacks, continuously below leads and lose this way.
It's just impressive at this point.
Like it's been since 2016, 17 now, like 5
Mm,
years, 6 years in the making, and this has happened how many times?
um,
I'd say 6 or 7.
yeah, I was gonna say it's happened a lot more than what you would like to see out of a professional football
You're
organization.
saying once a year if it started in 2016, you're giving up 17, 20 point leads.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I don't know what's happening. I don't know if there's anybody to blame. I know it's just bad luck. I feel for you guys, fans, and um, you suck. Your team sucks. Good for you.
Yeah, it's honestly probably good that they ended up losing because, you're gonna get a high draft pick.
Yeah,
I
I
mean, let's be honest, this team really did not have much hope coming into the year anyway. Their defense is
really bad.
terrible,
Yeah,
really, really bad. I mean, I don't honestly know how many guys that I can name on their defense anymore. Like, it went from one of the best in the NFL to one of the worst very quickly, and that happens as players get old and your Super Bowl window closes, so, just tank for a little bit, get back, I like your coach. Still not sure how Desmond Ridder's gonna be. Mariota played kinda Mariota like, he did exactly what you want him to do, so,
I like the way he
yeah.
played.
I do too. I'm a Mariota guy though, so I'm gonna have bias towards him. I can't help it.
I don't think he played bad. I mean, he
No,
like you
he
said,
didn't.
he's
Um,
Colts
Colts
Texans.
tying with the Texans, not exactly what you want to see,
Hmm.
especially when Jonathan Taylor comes out and rushes for 161 yards, and Matthew Stafford throws for 350 yards.
Matt Stafford.
Or sorry, Matt Ryan. My bad.
I'm just messing with you. You're good.
All right, been talking too much.
How do you not put this in the end zone? Like I don't understand. The ball's moving. You're getting how many yards? I'm looking at a collective 500 yards of offense right now between Matt
Yeah,
Ryan and Jonathan Taylor.
yeah.
And you can't put it in the end zone? Like
I do think
that's
what we talked about for the Colts is kinda what we saw in this game, where outside of Michael Pittman, their next guy was Nyheim Hines.
yeah,
You have to get another pass catcher. You have to.
Paris Campbell just
Odell
did
is there.
nothing.
Odell is there. Go get him,
Yeah.
please.
Here's the thing.
Like, he's not what he used to be. I don't care. He is better than Doolin, Campbell, and Pierce did not I like Pierce. The catch or the should be catch that he had in the end zone really made me a little angry to see because he was always so sure-handed.
Yeah.
But it was really good coverage by the corner. I'll give that to him.
I want to say this about Matt Ryan,
The
okay? I've
Go
defended
ahead.
this man.
Go
No,
ahead.
sorry. I have defended this man for years. I've said he's been
Mhm.
underrated. His MVP wasn't a fluke and all these different things, and I still somewhat believe that. But after watching him go
Mhm.
from one franchise, I blame the Falcons. I said it's the Falcons, it's our coaching staff. I've given every other reason for blaming Matt Ryan for whatever offensive woes that the Falcons had. One game in Indianapolis, and I've seen enough. I'm done defending him. Okay, because I remember a time when
Really?
Julio would get how many yards and he couldn't get any touchdowns. Okay,
You're putting this on Matt Ryan
I
now?
am
Oh
because
my lord.
here's the thing.
This is a lovely hot take. I'm here
Listen,
for it.
here's the thing. Okay, this is all I'm gonna say is that like I'm looking at this and I just asked you. Okay, 3 minutes ago, how
Mhm.
did the Colts not get it in the end zone? And then I had flashbacks to
Mhm.
to when it was headlines when Julio would get hundreds of yards in games and not get touchdowns. He had like a 7 game skid with it when he didn't have a single touchdown, but he had how many receiving yards? Right, like immaculate receiving yards. What
Mhm.
do both of those things have in common? Matt Ryan. I think Matt Ryan has a problem with finding the end zone. I think this man is a phenomenal quarterback. I think he probably will be a Hall of Famer. He will spread the ball out as best as he can. He found Michael Pittman for 9 receptions, as you just said, Naheem Hines for 6 yards. Like he still had he had better part of 400 yards passing. He threw the ball 50 times. Like he did everything you wanted to do, but find the end zone. And the fact that he could not do that in Atlanta and he can't do it in Indianapolis, that is not the rest of that Colts team's fault. And I'm putting more blame on Matt Ryan as it should be.
Ooh, lovely. I don't agree, but I okay, let me, let me take a step back here. I agree with you about 70% of the way. 30%, I kinda put on the receivers because they should have scored at least one more touchdown that the receiver didn't catch. So,
Oh,
I will
I
put
agree
a
with that.
I'm going to put a little bit of this on the receivers because it should be. I mean, they should have won this game, mainly because it was the Texans, and they didn't play that particularly well,
You can
offensively, that
you
is.
can defend Matt Ryan with the Pierce drop, okay? Like that
Mhm,
like that one I understand. Matt Ryan put it right in his stomach. Like that should have been a catch.
mhm.
But the rest of it, like they're just I don't know. Like it's too coincidental for me to say that Matt Ryan went from one franchise to the other and they still can't score points, but he still gets big stats. He's like the Russell Westbrook of the NFL, where he just stats on like piles on stats but can't succeed. Like his teams just aren't
Oh,
overall that good.
oh, that's good. I love that comparison.
That's like
I had not thought of Matt Ryan as the Russell Westbrook
both
of the
both Matt
NFL.
Ryan and Russ will probably be Hall of Famers in their respective sports, and both get high stats. Both play well. Like I know Russ played bad last year, but like overarching, Russ is a good basketball player, but he's not a successful basketball player. Matt Ryan's
Yeah,
in the same boat.
I I I love that. I love that take.
Thank you, sir.
I don't honestly, I can't tell you how much I agree with it yet because it's kinda stunned me, but that was a phenomenal comparison.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate that.
Um,
You've been stunned. I will take
I've been
my
stunned.
reward. If you
I
want,
cannot speak.
I'm happy this is recorded because that's the first time I've ever done that.
Yeah,
Um,
there yeah, I think that is the first time you've ever done that out of the, what, 4 years I've known you?
yeah, no, we've known each other for a long
3,
time.
3,
I think
2019.
if we had recorded every conversation we'd ever had, we would probably have more hours recorded than we actually do like sleeping. So
Yeah.
I'm pretty. I'm sorry. I don't know whether to apologize. I don't know how to feel about stumping you.
You have stumped me. I really I don't know how to go about that. Let's kinda run through some more of these games real quick, to let me collect my thoughts. Browns beat the Panthers. Both of those teams are not good. Browns kinda they relied defense. Jacoby Brissett did what you need him to. Baker comes out and kinda plays like Baker does,
Baker
16 for
played well.
27. He went 16 for 27, 235, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. Christian McCaffrey had a very un-Christian McCaffrey-like game, 10 carries, 33 yards, 4 receptions for 24 yards. Not necessarily what you're wanting to see. Robbie Anderson did catch a absolute bomb, which carried his stats to 5 receptions, 102 yards. All in all, this was a terrible game. Both of these teams will probably suck this year.
Oh yeah. No, I don't blame Baker because Baker played well. I the way that I saw that game from Baker. Yes, he was agitated and he was emotional, but that was the Baker we should have been seeing for a long time. And I know he still has room for improvement. I think in terms of fitting in with the new scheme and with his new teammates. But I think if that was the very first thing we saw, and that was the first official game we see with him in that new scheme, and he did that and he played well, and people are saying like what I just said, this is what we should have been seeing. Imagine what happens when he gets comfortable.
Honestly, imagine what we see out of him if they actually had a competent coach.
That too, like I mean, I'm just saying like even if they don't get rid of Rule and if he just gets comfortable and he keeps playing angry, he could be really good.
He could be. I don't know how he will. I think McCaffrey takes kind of a I don't think we see too many games where McCaffrey has 50 total yards this year as long as he's healthy. Um, that Panthers team, it just there has been so much stuff going on with them that I think once they settle in, it'll be better. They're still not gonna be good, but it'll be better. And Browns, I just hope they suck.
Oh, agreed.
I think you concur.
Oh, I
Let's go on to Dolphins, Patriots.
the Dolphins
Dolphins,
look good.
yes. Dolphins didn't look terrible. Tua did Tua things, completed high passes, didn't turn the ball over. Um, they didn't run the ball well at all.
Nope.
Tyreek Hill had a Tyreek Hill game, 8 receptions, 94 yards. Jalen Waddle, 4 receptions, 69 yards. Chase Edmonds was their third receiver, though, not necessarily the best thing.
No, that's
And Mike Gesicki had 1 reception. Again, not what you really wanting to see out of that. But, it's the Patriots defense. They're going to take away one thing that you like to do and make you do other things that you might not be comfortable with. They do it all the time. It's why they win a lot, and it is why they will continue to win this year. Mac Jones did get hurt, had back spasms, played through it. Didn't play terrible, 21 for 30, 213, 1 touchdown, 1 interceptions. I would like to see them run the ball a little bit more. They had 17 carries, 19 outside of 19 with their running backs.
yeah. I think Mac Jones suffers from no OC and a limited
Yep.
receiver, like a limited receiving room, and plus, like you just talked about their running back core, they don't have like a head running back that they can just give the ball to when they're in tough situations. So I feel like Mac going 21 to
I feel
30,
like they do though. Like,
but
I like Damian Harris, I
you do,
do.
but they're not treating
He
him like that.
No, they're not. I don't know if they should. I think they probably will next week, but, it's that they are playing the Pittsburgh Steelers without TJ Watt, so that's gonna be a very interesting game to watch.
Yeah, just my take on Mac, like the fact that he was consistent and had a fairly good game with no offensive coordinator, no real first string running back, and no real receiving core. It says good things, good things.
Yeah, you're okay with the things you saw Mac to or Sunday because, again, what you just said, no OC, no receivers, no clear running back 1.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, let's go on from them because that
Hooey.
was just a game that you, expected. This one we're gonna go 49ers, Bears. 49ers did not look good.
How about them
Bears,
Bears? They played
the Bears
awful.
do this Bears do this every year where they just beat one really good team. It's not like they played that field was soaked. It was a rain game of all rain games, and the Bears just did better with it than what the 49ers did.
Yeah. You know what
49ers still ran the ball really well.
they did?
Um, didn't throw the ball too well. Debo had 2 receptions for 14 yards, not exactly what you're wanting to see out of a guy that, you're probably gonna pay a lot. But he did run the ball 8 times for 52 yards, again, being the ultimate weapon. Elijah Mitchell did get hurt. Trey Lance had 54 yards on 13 carries. Jeff Wilson, 9 carries for 22 yards. Again, not something you like to see, but it's the Bears. They have a good defensive front,
Listen,
I guess you'd say.
Trey Lance
So,
looked befuddled against that Bears defense. Like he
yeah,
looked,
he did not look great.
his head
Kind
was
of
spinning.
what you expect when you've played one full season in about 4 years, and it was at South Dakota State.
Yeah, it,
That's
it, it
that
looked
was my
bad.
that was my worry with him throughout the entire process because, again, what we've kind of recalled this entire podcast, game experience matters.
Mm-hmm.
It started off when we talked about Richardson. It started off when it came to the quarterbacks playing in the preseason, and now it's a young quarterback who's starting his first game in the NFL, and you're sitting there thinking about it, and you're just like, he's played one season in like 3 or 4 years, and then he goes and plays against the Bears defense, which is well coached. So you're coming against a well coached defense, might not have the talent that other teams have, like this 49ers team, but you're coming against a well coached team against he might as well be a rookie quarterback. Um,
Yeah.
he's gonna struggle. He is. He's going to struggle for a little while. I still don't think that we see Jimmy G at any point this year,
No.
just because I think you let him ride it out this year, see what you got. If you don't have anything, dip him, you know, kind of go after Aaron Rodgers next offseason and
Yeah.
see what you got.
Oh,
That would be my plan with it, and go from there.
yeah. No, I
Yeah.
I just think I don't know. Trey, like everything you said, I worry about this 49ers team with Trey Lance. I don't know. I'm not a believer. I understand why he's an immaculate talent, but yeah, I this game, you know what this reminded me of? I'm a basketball guy. I think everyone understands this. Um, this was like when Pat Bev and the Wolves were celebrating their play-in win.
Yeah.
That's what this was. They won the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Like that. This was their Super Bowl. They beat a
It
team
was.
that might make the playoffs. They will, but like for just humor me. That if Trey Lance doesn't feel better or play better. Sorry, it is late and I am tired. If Trey Lance doesn't play better, they will not go very far this postseason. And the Bears responded to this win, not like they had been there. Not that they have been, but not a lot of discipline there.
No, they are a really young team who has not had much success.
Yeah,
So you kind of expect this out of them, where they actually win a game and they're going to treat it like it's a Super Bowl.
yeah. I mean, I'm happy they
Uh,
won. I'm happy they celebrated, but also like you're professionals. You're paid to do that.
yeah. That's kind of it for that one. Let's go on to Eagles Lions. Eagles win by a field goal.
Oh boy.
I actually I was really impressed with the Lions. First off, Um, and the Eagles looked good. Jalen Hurts had a very Jalen Hurts game, 18 of 32, 243, didn't turn the ball over, didn't throw a touchdown, but he rushed for 17 times and had 90 yards, had a touchdown on the ground. Miles Sanders actually looked really good.
Shocking, I
I
know.
don't know how many games you get out of I don't know how many games like this you get out of Miles Sanders
Miles
where he has
Sanders look good? Like
yeah, he had
what you
13 carries for 96 yards.
what
I don't understand it.
universe?
I don't know. I'm just not going to question it. AJ Brown balled out, had 10 receptions for 155 yards. Outside of him, uh, I'm just going to run down their receivers real quick. Dallas Goddard were second, had 3 receptions for 60. Their next two guys were running backs. It was Kenneth Gainwell, 2 receptions for 12 yards. Miles Sanders, 2 for 9, and then Zach Pascal had 1 for 7. Devontae Smith did not have a reception. Not exactly what you want to see. Um, Defense did not it was not very good. Um, it was good early on. They held them to one score each quarter until the fourth, and then they scored 14. So, giving up 35 points to the Lions, not necessarily ideal. Um,
listen. I don't want to blame too much on the Eagles defense. Like they played well for most of the game. I just think that they got the best of a Lions team that has nothing to lose.
they that's going to be the Lions every week
And
because of the way that they're coached, and I love it.
oh yeah.
They have nothing to lose. DeAndre Swift
Oh my
actually
god.
balled.
Oh my
15 carries,
god.
144 yards. You know how rare it is to see someone have average almost 10 yards a carry?
Dude, that's like JR Jim Ross type responses. Like Stone Cold's music just hit. My man's running
Yeah,
out like with a beer keg and this and you know Dirk out like that's it. That was the only thing I can compare to watching this man play. Is it like he did it again? Like he broke
yeah,
another like 12-yard run.
yeah. That was pretty much the story of that game for the Lions was DeAndre Swift carrying everybody. Jared Goff had a very Jared Goff game. 21-37, 215, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception.
Good.
About what you expect out of him. This was a very not necessarily expected thing, but they played exactly how you would expect them to play, if that makes sense. Moving
We're
on
almost to the
to
game.
yes, moving on to Bills Rams, where the Bills absolutely dominated, and the Rams I wouldn't say sucked, but they were not good. They were not good.
Jarrett,
I think I'm gonna throw this out there before you start. Matt Stafford's elbow might be a little bit more serious than what we think.
Jarrett, them Rams are in trouble. Them
Them
Rams are
Rams
in
aren't
trouble.
they are in trouble.
I'm
I
them
don't th- I didn't see the want to out of the Rams like you saw with them last year.
Yeah, no, I mean, no, that's going to play a part in the fact that they've accomplished that. Like they've climbed that mountain, so it's kind of like it's a lot harder to saddle up and do it again once you've done it once.
Yeah. They're still gonna be good. They are. They're going to turn it around. They have one of the best coaches in the NFL.
They do.
They have some of the most talented players in the NFL. They're going to be good.
Listen, man.
They're not. I don't know if they're going to be great, but the Bills, on the other hand, are great.
Going back
Go
to what
ahead.
you said about Matt Stafford, dude, I've been saying for a couple weeks now that it's a little odd that he went from going immediately from like, oh, he's still 70% with his elbow to a few days later going 100%, no limitations. It's, you look a little scared. You look a little bit like he didn't want to take any hits, and the only person he was really throwing to was, obviously you're going to throw it to Cooper Kupp, but I mean, Allen Robinson was your big pickup, your big acquisition, one reception for 12 yards. Three turnovers from Matt Stafford with 3 picks. He was 29 for 41 with 240 yards and a touchdown other than those 3 picks. So he, like I said, he looked scared. He didn't really want to throw it to anybody else. I would be worried. I think that,
Listen, I think I have the solution to the Rams' problem. Hear me out on this one here.
all right, all right.
Mason Rudolph.
That was not the name I was expecting. Not at all. But I think I can dig with it. Like,
Honestly, if they throw the Steelers like a second rounder or some shit, could you
yeah. I
could you
mean,
believe that? Someone throws someone like a high valued pick for Mason Rudolph. If you don't jump at that, I don't know
Mason
because
Rudolph.
he's not going to touch the field this year, and then he's gone. So like trade him, see what you know. I think genuinely he wouldn't do bad in that Ram system because he wouldn't have to throw the ball deep too much. It's just and that offensive line for the Rams is not what it was last year.
No.
Whitworth really losing Whitworth really showed the
And
other
see,
night.
yeah, no, and trust me, we felt that hole for a long time. Whitworth is not an easy replacement.
No, he's not.
And yeah, I agree. I wouldn't have said Mason Rudolph, but like I definitely think that the Rams need to seriously consider letting Matt get fully healthy. Um, because if he's,
I don't know if how many other quarterbacks are kind of on a block where you can want to be
I don't know, but
or you'd want to give up like an asset for him. Like
they gotta
outside of Rudolph, I haven't really heard any other quarterbacks being talked about
Jimmy
as moving.
Garoppolo, the guy down the street.
I don't think they're trading him though.
I don't know,
And
man.
I don't think the Rams have the value to give to them.
But if you're LA, you cannot let this man. Not only can you not risk his health by getting hurt more, but you can't, in terms of on the field competition, allow this man to be scared out there. You just can't.
Yeah, he was playing scared. I think it was very obvious that he was. And did you
Couldn't.
see? I'm there. I'm pretty sure there was a clip where he looked at someone and said, "I can't throw."
Yeah, no, seriously. Literally the words about to come out of my mouth was like you could tell there were certain throws he wanted to make, but he couldn't. But
Yeah,
physically, he could not throw that.
which
So
is absolutely wild coming from one of the toughest quarterbacks in the NFL.
he's hurt if this man can't throw.
Yeah,
This man just doesn't. He doesn't sit down, and the fact that he's like he's out there shows enough in terms of his toughness. But like the fact that he still can't throw shows he's hurt.
and the fact that they weren't running the ball,
Yeah.
kind of
Like,
question that.
what are you
Granted, their running
doing?
backs aren't that great.
Just give it to
I'm not a
Darrell
big
Henderson, man. He'll be fine.
I'm not big on their running backs, but when your quarterback can't throw, you have to run the ball. You
I
have to.
I may or may not
It's the
also
only
have.
it's
Sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna say it's the only way the Steelers made it through. What were you about to say?
I was gonna say I also may have Darrell Henderson on my sleeper league, and if he gets more carries, I get more points. But that's besides the point because we gotta
Oh
protect
my
Matthew
god.
Stafford.
Oh my god. I'm moving on from that now because you pulled a you.
What are you talking about?
I want to talk about the Steelers and Bengals before we go over like 2.5 hours.
I have a bone to pick.
All right, let's hear it. Let's get your bone out of the way so we can actually discuss.
All right, are you ready for it?
Yes.
I hate you.
Why?
I hate you. Okay, listen, you didn't do anything in particular, but you being a Steelers fan allows me to have a surrogate to enact my anger at this game. I hate you in particular, and any other Steelers fan listening to this. Oh,
Okay, let's not go too far.
my anger runs deep, okay? Listen, pick six on the first throw of the game. I thought, that sucks, but we'll be fine. Oh, T. Higgins goes down with a concussion. TJ Watt to be fair, Joe just threw it at his finger, like it wasn't. Not saying that the play wasn't great. It was just. I'm gonna say this, and then I'm not. I don't want to go too deep because I want you to speak. I will just keep talking. Joe,
Mhm.
as you said, Joe did not play in the preseason due to an appendicitis. Not really his fault. You could see it because he had weird reads. He just kept throwing it into just absolutely clusters of white jerseys. He just
Mhm.
kept throwing it into covered receivers, into high value pressure, and it made no sense. But then he got, TJ got hurt and he kind of settled in a little bit, and we were able to come back a little bit. We played probably the worst game of the season, and we still lost in the final seconds of overtime. So in retrospect, like it's like the only reason I'm angry is because it was Pittsburgh.
Mhm.
That's like it. If this was against any other team, I would actually be kind of happy because like the fact that we could have the worst game of the year and still almost win shows I think how good we are.
Yeah.
But the fact that it came against Pittsburgh, just I'd tell you what, like the pits of hell have no anger compared to what I have right now. And
Was this loss worse for you than the playoff loss?
no, nothing will compare to
No,
that. This
nothing. Okay.
nothing. No, 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 no. This one, it sucked. But like I said, we still have the rest of the season, and we played bad, but we still almost won. So it's
Mhm.
like there's a lot to be positive about over this. If we can stay healthy and if Joe can get back into, which he will, it's not even a matter of if, it's when Joe gets back into reading the field the way that he used to when he gets back into like game speed, we will be
Mhm.
tough. It doesn't matter how tough our schedule is. We will be winning football games. That playoff loss, that will haunt me for the rest of my days.
Yeah.
I will
So.
say the sound of Chris Boswell doinking it off the side of the uprights will that was one of the happiest moments of my life.
Yeah.
Like I want that to
I
be
guess.
like my ringtone, just doink the sound it made.
Yeah, that's fair. Um, I'll kind of what I'm going to do first is praise the Bengals. Um, because
Wow.
they genuinely are one of the best teams in the AFC. This is the worst game you will see them play all year. Joe Mixon only averaged 3 yards a carry, not good. Burrow had 4 picks. Again, once he settles in, that you're not going to see that again. Um, I genuinely think that the Bengals win the AFC North pretty convincingly. I don't think the Ravens win it. Um, it's going to be close, but I don't think that they do because the Bengals are the best team. And I will say this: what I have a feeling happens is the next time that the Bengals and Steelers play, absolutely murder the Steelers. Like they're going to beat them by 30.
I
But
hope.
but we got them this week, boys. Let's go. We got them this week. Minka Fitzpatrick, the second best safety in football. Mitch Trubisky, he was Mitch Trubisky. TJ Watt is the best defensive player in football when healthy. Um, Actually, he's second best. Aaron Donald's still the best. I'm sorry. I love TJ, but he's still the second best. And
Dude,
no shame. No shame.
Minka,
No
I
shame in there.
there were times during that Bengals game that I legit thought I was watching Troy Polamalu.
I'm not even gonna lie. Um, when I was able to watch the game, Minka was playing like I haven't seen Minka play before. He was playing angry and physical, and it was like he hated everybody,
Hmm?
which was what you want to see out of a guy like him because he was originally coming in as a playmaking safety, and you get a guy who is a playmaking safety who is hitting like he was and playing the ball like he was, you're going to
Scary.
get a very dangerous player,
No, I yeah.
and I love that. Cam Hayward somehow still keeps getting better. I don't know how it works, but Cam Hayward is incredible.
My
Love
dude,
him.
the dude kept pushing around our rookie guard, or yeah, it was a
I
guard.
know.
What's his name?
I can't remember his
I
name
can't
right now,
either.
but
But dude,
I know who you're talking about.
I mean,
He was murdering him. Like
manhandling.
see that 3 yards of carry we saw out of Joe Mixon. That is thank you to Cam Hayward
Mm-hmm.
himself because every time he would get the ball, Cam Hayward was just shoving his guy to where he needed him to be, and then throwing him out of the way and like wrapping up,
Yeah.
which is absolutely fantastic. Um, The defense did exactly what I thought the defense would do. They came out, they blitzed heavy, they hit hard, and they did their job.
Yeah.
After TJ went out, I got a little worried. I'm not gonna lie. Um, I did still have his recovery sitting at 6 to 8 weeks after the game. This was before I knew the actual one. I didn't think that he completely tore it, mainly because of like his reaction to it. But thank God he didn't, because they would have had no chance had he just completely tore it. He comes back, he would have to come back the next year, and you don't know what an edge rusher is going to look like after they tore a pec.
Mm-hmm.
It is the most. I don't know if it's the most important part because their knees are very important for their bend, but the rip throughs and the holding them with one arm, like you have to have your pecs. You have to, especially to wrap up on sacks and tackles. And TJ likes to jump up and bat the ball down. You have to have your pec to be able to do that.
Yeah.
So really glad that he is okay. The cornerbacks played exceptionally well, which I was not expecting. Levi Wallace and Akello Witherspoon. Now Witherspoon played really good last year, a lot better than what I expected him to, but he continued it this year, which was uh or so far this year, which is very exciting to see.
See, that was the other thing too. Is that Joe kept targeting Mike Davis. Or no, what's his name? Thomas. Sorry. Kept targeting Mike Thomas, who had Weatherspoon on him, and Weatherspoon played well. I feel like if that was T, I think that would have changed the complexion of the game, regardless.
Oh, definitely,
Um,
definitely.
so cause that was who that would be if not for T. Higgins'
Hmm.
concussion, is that he would be tossing it right. So there was a game plan to target Witherspoon for whatever reason, and I don't think Witherspoon does nearly as well as he did. All credit to him, because any ball that went his way, it looked like he had it. But I feel
Yeah,
like that's more of the disconnect between David or Thomas and Joe than it is like the defense. But the
I
defense
and
played well.
yeah, I get the big thing was they pressured him heavily.
Mm-hmm. See,
That offensive line will get better than what they played
yeah.
this Sunday. They again, it is a completely new unit. This is their first time with Burrow behind them and Mixon. This is it's not like their first time getting together. It's their first time seeing game action together, which is completely different from practice.
Right.
It just is. Um, they're going to get better. They have the guys. They just need the time. But like I would say by week 8, they're going to be looking like a completely different unit,
Oh yeah.
and they're going to be dominating people like they should have.
I want to
But
give. I want to
they're just
give.
not there yet.
Oh no. I want to give the Bengals defense a lot of credit too, because despite
Yeah,
a lot of really bad field position and a lot of bad situations, they still only held a Steelers team to 23 points, which took every second of all minutes available to get.
yeah,
Um, they put
yeah. They played really well,
yeah,
and
bailed
Mitchell Trubisky did not take advantage
no,
of the field position,
not at all.
which is what you need him to do.
They
Like
bailed
if your
Joe a
defense
lot.
is playing, yeah, they did. They really did. You need them to take advantage. I thought the play calling was a little bit better than it was last year, and then it went back to last year's play calling. So like
Hmm.
at the beginning of the game, I was enjoying what I was seeing out of the Steelers offensive play calls. There was, a lot of motions, a lot of getting Mitch Trubisky out into space where I think me and you both agree is where he's best is on the run when he can't think.
Oh, for sure, yeah. When he just makes the
Uh,
first instinct throw, he is tough.
he is. And then I don't know what changed. I really don't. But they continued with their motions, then just let Mitch Trubisky sit in the pocket. So, you deserve the Steelers deserve to lose that game. I'm glad they won. Glad they won in the way they did because it was the Bengals. But you have to come away from this and be like, why is that game so close? A and B, you have to really look at your offense and be like, what are we doing here? Deontay made, I think, the catch that's going to be the catch of the year,
Oh, that was a great
and
catch.
it was. Najee got hurt again. Not what you want to see. You want him to be your bell cow. Jalen Warren actually came in and blocked very well. He was good in pass pro. Didn't run the ball that well, but again, this offensive line is not very good. They're not going to be very good. So, eh, I don't know. I'm coming away with it as the Steelers are probably going to be like a 500 team, maybe.
Mm,
I think it's the most Steelers fashion to go 8-1.
yeah,
But I don't know. This Steelers season is going to be very hard. It is going to give me many heart attacks, and I don't know. I don't know what to say because Najee is hurt. Looks like he'll be back for week 2 though. TJ's hurt. This this is going to be a long time. It's
yeah,
gonna be a long season.
it will
I
be.
really d I do think that we see Kenny Pickett sooner than what we originally thought if Mitchell Trubisky keeps playing like he does.
Yeah,
Because the way I thought about it earlier in the year was you probably weren't gonna see Kenny at all this year. But if Trubisky cannot take advantage of the defense playing like they did, you're just they're gonna take him out. They are. They don't care to. They never have.
yeah. I think
They are the biggest next man up team that you will find, and if you are not producing, they will get you out of there.
honestly, I the biggest injury heading into the game, like we could talk about the Najee and the T and all the different and TJ and all the different injuries that happened during the game, but the biggest injury of the game that honestly, in retrospect, decided the game before the game was even played was the injury to Clark Harris. Clark Harris is the Bengals' long snapper, 13-year
Yes.
vet,
Yeah.
and if I don't know if like everyone knows the McPherson missed all those kicks. But
Mhm.
unless you watch the game, because I know watching the game, the commentators made a big deal about it, but nowhere since on any reporting has there ever been talk about Clark Harris. And I feel like that leads a lot of misguided judgment placed upon McPherson. That I mean, yes, he should have made some of them, but when you're kicking a football in any capacity takes a lot of mechanic, a lot of power, and a lot of skill, but most of it's mechanic. Most of it's doing the same repetition, like a free throw.
Mhm.
Um, when that's knocked off in any way, shape, or form, it's a lot harder to do anything in that capacity. And man, I don't remember what was the guy, the second string long snapper's name. I cannot remember.
Honestly, I can't remember his name, but he
He
came in there and it was
not that
just not.
he wasn't doing a bad job. He was just slow. The ball was a lot slower from his hand to the holder. And the problem with that is that it takes a lot. That means that Huber had to be quicker with getting the ball to the ground, which means, for instance, one instance, Minka got into the backfield because it took too long to snap the ball on an extra point that would have won us the game. The next
Mhm.
snap that this kid had, Huber couldn't turn the laces out, i.e., McPherson kicks it far left.
Mhm.
So I just feel like Clark Harris's injury is the entire reason that we're even having this discussion right now. I mean, nobody's talking about it. So I want to shout out to Clark Harris for being a true unsung hero of the long snappers because every Cincinnati sports fan now understands what it's like to not have those guys and to not have that going as well as you usually do because everyone else in the rest of time seems to have a long snapper on command. Um,
Mhm.
so yeah, respect long snappers. Hopefully we can get that figured out by week 2.
Respect the entire special teams unit. I
Facts.
like the only people you ever see giving respect to special teams is Pat McAfee, and I absolutely love Pat McAfee because he does that, and he's really funny. But like special teams is they're always the unsung heroes until they mess up.
Oh yeah, they're
Like
invisible until they're not.
you were never going to get praised unless you make a game winning kick or you miss a game winning kick.
Hmm.
Punters, you're not going to hear about a punter unless they shank one or they kick one 80 yards. Long snappers, you're not going to hear about them until they mess up. The holders, you're not going to hear about them unless they mess up. So like you're coming out there and you get, you know, you are not getting love at all.
No.
You get hate. I heard McAfee talk and he's like, the best times for me kicking was when I was at away stadiums because I wouldn't hear boos.
Yeah, which is
Like,
ridiculous.
yeah, it's just I think that showed for Cincinnati this weekend. You have to have a very you don't have to have a good special teams unit, but these guys they spend a lot of time together. and long snappers are genuinely the biggest part of special teams. And I think if you talk to every kicker and holder, they will tell you the same thing that without the long snapper, they can't do their job right.
Oh, for sure.
And it definitely did show. But
Yeah,
this
man.
again, this Bengals team will be really good. The Steelers team will be decent. They're not going to be good. They're not going to be great. They're not going to be bad. They're going to be decent. They're going to win games exactly like they won this one, where they're going to be nasty.
It'll be a fun season overall.
Not for me. I'm probably going to have a lot of heart attacks.
Ah,
It's okay.
love to see it.
Thanks.
No, I'm just messing.
Yeah. I was being really nice
I
talking about
know
the
that's
Bengals.
why I was being sarcastic. I was
Yeah,
kidding.
I
I
hear
was
you.
kidding.
You backtrack now.
No, I was kidding.
Yeah, backtrack all you want. It still hurts.
Listen, man, I dealt with it for a long time, so all I'm saying is that I feel like I have earned this one.
See? I don't know about that one.
You know what? Fine, whatever. Uh, regardless, I'm just messing with you. I think we've had
Oh
a.
yeah,
This has been a great episode. We've had a lot of fun.
we have.
A lot of
It's gone
interesting.
for it's gone for a couple hours.
Yeah, we actually just ran over the 2 hour mark.
Yeah. I did want to talk about something, but I'm going to save that because I think it'll be a very interesting topic as the season goes on.
Okay.
It was the topic that me and you were going to discuss. Um,
Ah,
I think it'll be very, I think it'll be very interesting to see as the season goes on.
it's a
Um,
lot more
like
challenging
I,
question now.
yeah, like it'll be if you're looking. I think like week 8 will be a time where I can pose that question, and it'll mean a lot more than it would before the season.
Yeah.
I still would have liked to have done it before the season, but our schedules kind of
Did not
got very
align for that, but
hectic.
that's okay.
Yeah, it got very hectic, but it's okay. We still are going to be here a lot now, at least once weekly, I hope.
Yeah, no, that's the plan is that we just kind
Yeah.
of figure this out. So yeah, I guess thank you for sticking with us this far.
Yeah, this has been, very fun. I enjoy talking about football. Ryan enjoys talking to me. That's why he's here.
Hey. Hi, Jarrett.
Hello. Anyway, do you have anything else you wanna talk about?
My boy Rodrigo Blankenship got cut.
Yeah, the goggles are gone.
Ah, man, the Lego legend. I feel it's so sad.
It is, but,
It'd be how it be though. Like the
yeah.
man did shank 2 kickoffs and miss the game-winning field goal. So like I get it.
Yeah, yeah. Again, kicking is one of those things where it's all in, repetition. You have success, you're gonna continue to have success until you don't, and then you're gonna continue to struggle. That's what happens more often than
And
not.
then he went unclaimed.
Yeah, well, most teams aren't gonna cut their kicker at this point to get another
I
one.
know it's so bad.
Like, the only thing I could see is someone like the Lions or not. I'm not saying the Lions are cutting their kicker. I don't know. I don't even know who their kicker is right now. Um, but someone like them just being like their kicker comes out and starts playing terrible for 3 weeks and they cut him for Rodrigo. That would be the only thing I could see happening with him.
I'm just happy that. I mean, I guess last thing before we wrap this up, I'm just happy that Cincinnati didn't have Fat Randy anymore.
Yeah.
Mr.
Poor
Bullock.
fat Randy.
Yeah.
Poor fat Randy.
I
That
no.
man that man got so much slander. Deserved, but so much
I would
slander.
say I'm not saying poor Fat Randy. That dude ruined my life for a long time. Like a long time. I
Well,
suffered a lot because of him.
oh, there was a kicker from Jacksonville that came to the Steelers, and I think he lasted like 3 weeks. Was it
Was
Lambo or not
yeah,
Lambo?
no, that Josh Lambo was the dude who got kicked.
Was he the one? No, yeah.
He was the one
Who
who
was
Urban kicked.
who was the kicker that was like Jacksonville's all-time leading scorer, comes to the Steelers, and then
That's a great question.
was it, why can I not think of his name?
Hold on, I'm looking it up. Don't worry about it. Josh Scobie.
Goby. Yeah. God, that was a painful time. trying to deal with Josh Goby.
Yeah, now you got Boswell, who's done pretty well.
Boz has been basically automatic for 4 years, and I love it because Pittsburgh has always been a hard place to kick into,
Yeah.
and yeah, I love that. Love having a good special teams unit. I wish Presley Harvin was a little bit more consistent, but you can't have everything. Would love a Pat McAfee. That's what I would love as a punter. But
Yeah.
we can't have what we want all the time.
No, I mean that.
We can't have everything. Like I would still like to see the Steelers have, a great offense and a great defense, but instead they have a great defense and a terrible offense.
But I think we've gone way off topic again, and I think it's time to let our poor people go home.
Okay. Um so we're going to film this should be out tomorrow, which will be Thursday.
Wednesday, or
This
yeah,
this
no,
will be out
today is
before.
Thursday. Sorry, today is Wednesday. Sorry, tomorrow's Thursday. Right.
Yeah, this should be out tomorrow. Um we'll have this out, and then I think how when are you wanting to start the basketball one?
Oh, so second chance points. That one will be coming back. We actually did one recording of that in March. For
Mhm.
March Madness. That will be coming back at some point soon. So that's our basketball straight one, as you know. That one will hopefully also be weekly and going over everything that happened in the past week of basketball. Pretty cut and dry, straightforward. But other than that, if you like hearing me and Jarrett go back and forth, there's a slight chance everything goes right. There's a more of a sports center, more of a first take esque style show on the horizon where you can see our beautiful mugs. So keep watching for that. Keep your ears, wide open hearing for that kind of thing because you never know.
Mhm. Yeah,
A lot of other cool
and
shows.
a lot of we have a lot of things in the work. It's kind of what's been taking us a little while. We've been working ironing out some details, working some stuff out.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, yeah. Until next time. Thank you all for listening to the Mostly Audible podcast, hosted by myself, Jarrett Smith, and co-host Ryan Gumm. Say bye, Ryan.
Bye.
Thank you all for listening.